And
Hi
welcome to the
guys, I'm the
Lonely
learning
Marks.
tree. Oh,
Hey guys, welcome to the Lonely Marks Wrestling Podcast. If you're joining us wherever you may be joining us, we appreciate it. I am Austin Pez Howell. I'll be your kind of host this evening. Jacob Barber's on assignment doing some comedy, ha ha ha. And
yeah,
but
man.
I am not lonely tonight. Got Richie Goodacre. How's it going, Richie?
I'm going good. Yeah, ready to talk about another retro show, and yeah, excited to delve into it. It should be fun.
Yeah, sounds good. And Jordan Owens. Speaking of comedy, how's it going, sir? How you doing?
Comedy. Hey, we can find both of us doing comedy when we shit on Henry and each other over at his roast
Yeah.
on whatever that channel's called. But tonight,
He
we're
changed
gonna
it
talk
already.
serious wrestling.
Breaking news: he changed it
Yeah,
already.
breaking news.
So it's like Action Confidential now or something. I don't know. No, I don't know what it's called. Something maybe.
You know what's sad? I totally believed you.
You're like I'm not surprised.
I believe you. So,
And I'm sure Jordan's been canceled. Whatever tournament he's on has been canceled.
Yes. Turn canceled in progress. But yeah, welcome everybody. We're here to just talk some news tonight, talk to all the happenings in the world of professional wrestling, and then later on we will have a retro review going back 30 years for Summerslam 1994, getting us prepped for all the Summerslam festivities coming up in the next couple of weeks. But we'll get to that in just a little bit. But as always, we'll start out with a little news. JPO, you said you had a little cage match nugget you wanted to get to first. What you got for us, man?
Oh.
Get some teaser there.
Yeah, I think that's something first, but yeah, no, I was looking just a little fun thing that I always like to do, where we're talking when Alba Fire is Don won the titles and they hadn't done shit. I thought I'd look up Cedric Alexander and Ashanti Adonis, if you're wondering, have been brought down to NXT. They've been kind of demoted, if you will. Mm-hmm. They were drafted to SmackDown, they brought to NXT. And I was like, damn, really? And so I looked it up, and here's Cedric Alexander's history. So in February, I think I saw it February, but there's a vignette promoting Cedric and Ashanti tag team that's going to debut. Well, Cedric loses on the first episode of Speed back in March. They both lose in the Andre Battle Royal in April. And Cedric gets squashed on SmackDown in less than 15 seconds to Braun Breaker back in April. They never tagged. They still have yet to tag because now that they're in NXT, their first week, they were in singles matches where they lost. So great tag team start for these guys here who have one promo, some dark matches, and then even in NXT they can't even get a win. So hoping there's no releases anytime soon because it's not looking great for Cedric and Ashanti, the Adonis. This is what was interesting, the fact that they hyped the debut tag team before even the draft them to SmackDown together, then undraft them to NXT, and they're still kind of saying they're a team, and they have yet to have a tag team televised match.
Well, I guess that ties in to some people who are leaving, apparently, which is other members of the Hurt Business, which is apparently Bobby Lashley and MVP.
Yes.
Their contracts are up, and apparently, according to Bobby Lashley, that they did offer something for Bobby Lashley. He wasn't sold on it, and it's interesting. And with MVP, I think I'm not sure what happened there, but I know he did openly criticize the fact that the Hurt Business was ended too soon, and that Triple H wasn't interested. So I don't know, that factored in, but it's interesting to see where Bobby goes. Like he doesn't look like it, but he's like 47, 48. Obviously, MVP is sort of around that in age too. I could see them reforming. Apparently, if there was a report that AEW is looking would want to want them to maybe reform some of the Hurt Business because like Shelton Benjamin's still a free agent as well. But they couldn't use the Hurt Business name because WWE owns the trademark. But it's like what is the Ouch organization doing in the Dynamite? No, but
the Ouch Club.
But yeah, they were part of a group in TNA called the Beatdown Clan with I think Samoa Joe and a few other people as well. So could end up there. So, but it's interesting. I think it's a big loss because Bobby Lashley was also a big part of the sort of pandemic era as well. It's like it was Drew and sort of him that sort of leading the charge. So It's an interesting development, but yeah, I'm sure Bobby Lashley.
Tamina's on that same list too, right?
Was that Tamina? Yeah, but I don't think she's been. She's not been. She's not left necessarily. She's just. I think she's just going to. I think she hasn't been an active competitor for a while. I think she's an agent.
Yeah.
So she's going to be an agent producer. So she hasn't left the company.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. I mean, and no offense too, like Tamina's, I think has been around longer than I thought some of us would think she would. Outside of the 24/7 title, never had a single title. Had one tag title reign with Natalya, but it's been around for a little while now. MVP is a sad thing because I thought he had a really good return. It was fun. He was a good talker. I like the fact that he was able to kind of do both still a little bit. And yeah, her business was really good, really over for a little while here. Did end prematurely. And the Bobby thing's a shocker because he's former world champion a couple times. Even earlier this year was the WrestleMania win. So that's gonna be interesting. Like you said, there's options out there for him. I don't know if Bobby maybe just wants to chill, or whatnot. Because like you said, he is an older cat than you might imagine him to be. But yeah, I think obviously he's had success in TNA as well, former TNA champion. So I'm sure they would open the door for him. I'm sure AEW potentially could. So yeah, that was an interesting one here. A little sad to see.
Yeah, no, I mean, a little kind of out of nowhere. Again, it seems to be more the par for the course of these guys getting released, just letting their contracts expire, and then just kind of being like, "Yeah, sorry, last minute we didn't renew your contract. You're just kind of done now." So I guess I would be aware if your contract is coming up and you haven't been really used in a prominent role in a while. Maybe don't rely on that last minute extension, or if you're not in some kind of prominent place. But yeah, JPO, I could see more of maybe the TNA route for Bobby Lashley, just because he has a former history with them, rather than AEW, maybe picking him back up, to come back in and maybe with MVP, we'll see,
with his style of wrestling too, I almost figured that maybe he'd be better suited for TNA.
Yeah, I couldn't really see him fitting in with AEW or just what they would do with him in AEW. I just don't see that. Overall, I would see more of TNA. He could stand out a little more in TNA, I think.
And if he went to TNA, he'd probably end up working with WWE anyway. If they do the
the crossover stuff. That would be weird, right? Yeah.
Speaking of TNA too, I want to give them a quick shout out here on Saturday. They had their Slammiversary event, and it was the biggest crowd they've had in years.
I don't know how big. It was.
It was about 4,000, I believe. They said it was a sold out crowd. So the fact that they could pack a few thousand in that area was great. They were in Canada, I believe, as well as TV tapings the next day. Alexander Hammerstone returned. I won't do all the results, to kind of the important shit.
No, I was going to say I need to refresh my drink for a second off screen for just about 30 seconds. But I was going to say you guys both watched it, so please talk Slammiversary for a minute. Please go ahead.
Just the kind of the important stuff. ABC, Chris Bay, and Ace Austin would win the tag titles off of the system. Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers. We saw some NXT involvement as well because the Rascals were in full force. Wesley, Zach Wentz, and Trey Miguel defeating No Quarter Catch Crew and Charlie Dempsey, Miles Bourne, and Tavion Heights. Several more title changes too. PCO defeated AJ Francis, the former Top Dollar, to win their digital media title, and some other stupid international
and another championship that he wanted to win from back in Canada back in the day.
I don't think they did a good enough job of selling that title, because I thought it was just like an egotistical thing by AJ, but I guess it was also because it's a title the PCO wanted back in the day. I guess whatever. Just focus on your own title. But and then afterwards we saw the very sweet engagement. Stefan Lander came back out and asked PCO, will he marry her? And we will get that next week, evidently. Here, Impact just ended a little bit ago, but that'll be on next week's episode.
And nothing goes wrong with marriages.
Nothing. It's just gonna be a sweet moment from beginning to end. Good old marriage. Jordan Grace retained her title against Ash by Elegance, the former Dana Brooke, but the title changes then continued as Mike Bailey defeated Mustafa Ali to win that title, and I would say match of the night, about 20 minutes there. A little bit of a Earl Hebner callback.
Match of the night, and so they did a Montreal screw job thing.
That's my least favorite part. I would take that part out again. Like, we get it. Let it die, wrestling world, especially in TNA. It's like it's not even your company. Who gives a stop? And then in the main event, it was a 6-man elimination match. Steve Macklin eliminated first, but then the Moose gets eliminated second. So right away, we know within the first, like, whatever that was, 10, 15 minutes, this was a 31-minute match, that we are guaranteed a new TNA World Champion. Josh Alexander would turn heel a little bit here by taking out Joe Hendry.
Kick him in the balls.
Expected him to, kicking him right where it hurts the most. But then Josh Alexander himself would get eliminated here, leaving the final two to Frankie Kazarian and Nick Nemeth. Kazarian's never had the titles by being in and out of TNA since day one, basically. But Nick Nemeth, your former Dolph Ziggler, is now your TNA World Champion here. I believe next week on television will be him and Mustafa Ali going for the world title. Because again, when you lose a title, that means you can go for a bigger title. All right.
Even though they established option C, where he could probably would have done that, they could have just done that storyline if he had the title. You know what I mean? I'll cash this in for the title shot. Anyway.
Yeah, they can now because Bailey's got it now.
I know, but anyway. It's weird.
So we will continue the TNA NXT involvement here. Joe Hendry will have a concert next week at NXT, which is subtitled The Great American Bash Part 1. There's 2 nights of Great American Bash for the next 2 weeks here. And also, too, if anyone, maybe check your DVRs, because if you're looking for both NXT and Raw, make sure to remember they're going to be on Sci-Fi next week. NXT is on Sci-Fi the next 2 weeks, but Raw's on next. It's also on Sci-Fi next week, so check your DVRs. I checked my Sling. Sling's up to date. Good on that.
Is Kevin Thorne going to be there?
Sci-Fi, got it. Took me a second. Had a
I'm like,
reference. Got it. All right. If you had said the zombie, I would have been looking quicker. Hopefully not. Actually, zombie passed away. Respect.
Is the outcast Shannon Moore going to be there, or whatever the hell his gimmick was?
He's available. He's available. Still working in Florida, I believe. A good guy. I like Shannon. And if you're looking for alternative wrestling on pay-per-view here, Ring of Honor. It's still a thing, guys.
I forgot it had that show.
Mark Briscoe defending the world title against Roderick Strong. I know Athena and Billy Starks are defending their titles as well. And it is cheap, though. It is on the Watch ROH platform and stream. So if you're interested, for $10, you can get all their archives, the weekly television, and now this pay-per-view here. That's what I did. I'm going to try to catch up a little bit on the past few episodes. Although it's tomorrow. I probably won't have much time. I'm going to try to at least watch this week's episode tomorrow, maybe. I just realized I lost track of time. I meant to do that earlier this week. But, right. I think $10 is worth it. They usually at least have good pay-per-views, even if the build
I think they announced a 6-man TV title match as well, but I know Leo Rush is in it. I can't remember the other people.
Oh, that's cool. I like Leo Rush. That's one of the first places I saw in that was Ring of Honor. So,
yeah.
Yeah. And then I guess the other kind of newsworthy thing in AEW, I didn't get a chance to see it. I'm sure JPO did. Maybe Richie, but Blood and Guts, right? Happened last night.
Yeah. They're War Games. Blood and Guts this week.
Yeah. So, if you saw it, JPO, fill us in maybe a little Blood and Guts. Any happenings coming out of that one? I'm sure it was violent as usual.
No, they still find a way to be violent here. Let's see what some of the highlights you got. What was it? Scissors being involved, an actual scissor, stabbing people in the head, and then also in the mouth. Which, again, I you got to suspend your belief a little bit here. Don't know how he wasn't jokered afterwards. He was fine. Those were fine. I know the end would come. I don't think anyone jumped off the top, right, Richie? Did you see it?
Yeah. Who jumped off? Sorry, I'm getting distracted.
No, I'm saying no one did, right?
Well, as far as I can tell, didn't Darby hang off the cage and do like a coffin drop or something like that?
So hanging. Darby in a really cool, which by the way, Darby, American Ninja Warrior, sign up because he fucking scaled that shit nicely, and nice. Even went forward and looked down and went, I'm a little far, and went back and then did the coffin drop. He was on the top of the cage. I meant outside when they climb up, Undertaker McFoley style. I don't believe they did that this year. But they did. Darby's spot was pretty cool here, and then it finally ended with Darby threatening to murder Jack Perry by setting him on fire. And finally, Matthew Jackson is actually the one that said, "No, it's fine. I'll give you one. I'll give you the title match." So it'll be Darby and Jack for TNT title. I got to remember there's like 4 different singles titles. But the TNT title, that's the one Jack has, and then also they do the I Quit because they do the WCW rules where it's not pinfall, it's a submission or I Quit. So surprisingly, I didn't see it coming, but Team AEW won.
And now we got an AEW American Championship for now with MJF.
Yeah, that too. MJF came out very, kind of like, who cares about the international? Very almost Donald Trumpish, like just all about the U.S. Rebranded the title as the American title. Bit iffy on commentary. I feel like Excalibur was like, it's the American title, but then like either Tenay or Taz was like, well, it's like really not. It's just fucking what he says. So don't know if that is a true rebrand. We'll see.
I hope it's not. It's been rebranded 3 times now.
Yeah, I know. I hope they don't TNA with their titles. TNA like 6 of their titles, but no, I'd imagine this is just a temporary thing. That's almost very disrespectful in a way to go. Fuck international. We got an American title.
I think the note there's like Hangman attacked Swerve before the match, and then it was sort of there was teasing tension between the elites. Obviously, it's just like that feud's going to continue either way. I don't know whether without the thing. So yeah,
I could see another match between them. Actually, them doing it at the one that's like 2 weeks after Wembley. Yeah, like be a bigger match like for that show, to draw people in. Maybe if they do another something.
And, and then also too, not to say that I'm going this way, but like if Swerve does drop it, that also would make complete sense. You know what I mean? Then it's just an untitled kill each other match kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. So I could see that maybe if they needed a hype match quickly after Wembley, to get people interested in that show. Certainly another.
No, that makes sense because
you that.
Yeah. You kind of have to do that to a degree. Have like these quick ready, and we're ready to do this now. Let's position over here. So you kind of need that. So yeah, no, that makes complete sense.
Well, also, as you mentioned, the debut finally, because she's been signed for ages, of Camille, who is Mercedes Monet's bodyguard. Camille was the NWA Women's Champion for fucking ages, almost as long as Roman Reigns was champion, in a way. But she came out and then attacked Britt Baker, so she's going to be like the bodyguard, the muscle, for now. But yeah, she's really good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
People have been wondering if she's gonna come for a little while. Yeah, 812 days. Camille held that title. 812 days. 42 defenses, or 41, or 40. I gotta take away the win and loss. 40. I went right to the RPW page, the company I helped run in Florida, and went, if you like Camille, check out her video on our channel. Her match is over 1.2 million. Yeah, our highest viewed video is us. She's in our inaugural women's title match, actually, is Camille. And I'm in that video as well. I actually I introduced the title. So I have a video with over 1 million views because of Camille.
I guess news sort of, I guess, on the Australian end, in a way, like sort of like a bill. WWE signed an Australian wrestler from Perth. Her name's Delta. I've seen her wrestle before. She's really good. She's sort of got the same build as a Camille or a Beth Phoenix. So I mean, she's pretty good. So I'd probably see her in NXT probably. Yeah, I would see it probably soon, in the next 6 months, probably to a year, maybe. But yeah, she'll probably be used the same way as like a heavy or a muscle. But yeah, she's pretty good. So check her out. Delta.
I know some places are reporting that the Motor City Machine Guns are pretty much confirmed to WWE. So that'd be cool if that is official. So.
No, that would be a nice kick in the ass for the tag team division. Get some fresh, like hype for. Hey, maybe the addition of them will finally get tag team championship matches on pay per view.
On pay per view, that'd be nice.
Not just relegated to SmackDown.
And apparently, Evander Holyfield's son's getting a WWE tryout. That's interesting. I don't know if he's going to be. He's going to, I don't know if he's just getting a tryout because of the name, but never know. He might be good.
Something. They'll change his name, and Brian Ellsworth will complain they're changing his name or something. I'm sure. Why not just call him Holyfield?
Big SummerSlam news too. It is confirmed. CM Punk will finally have a singles match after 8 months under contract.
Yes.
10 months because of Survivor Series. So we're finally getting Punk in a wrestling match against Drew McIntyre.
I was like, what is this, like his third match since he's been back? He only had like 2, really, if you include him in the Royal Rumble.
Oh, That's true. He had the Dominic stuff, and then it was
Uh-huh.
just the Rumble. But the Dominic was
Yeah.
off TV.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so he did have
Drew
that
McIn-
singles match, but first televised
Yeah.
singles match.
Yes.
Drew McIntyre, who took a photo with Jack Perry and had a joke, and then WWE made him delete it. That was very funny.
Oh, did they make it deleted? I didn't hear that follow.
I know that I saw that photo going around on my Reddit thread today, and literally the caption was like, "No, this is real. Go cry a river" or something like that.
It was funny. Drew's great.
Yeah, that's right. No, Drew's great on social media. Yeah, you should leave that shit up. Why not? But no, I was gonna say, you bringing up SummerSlam. They have we have pretty much almost a full card confirmed for SummerSlam. I guess 7 confirmed matches. So we at least have a pretty full card there.
Whoa,
no tag team match.
WWE.
No tag team
7.
match yet, JPO. 7 matches, but no tag team match.
It's not going to be. Bet you
Has it been tag team feuds even teased? I don't even think so.
Yeah, so maybe you'll add a pre-show one. Maybe it's not looking good. But yeah, the whole card is pretty much confirmed at this point after all the recent events.
It's a dope card too.
Yeah, no, I'll run it down real quick. But yeah, as you mentioned, just mentioned JPO, yeah, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre official with Seth Rollins as special guest referee, as Seth said. Well, you have your business, but you got involved in my business too. So now I'm getting involved in your business.
I'm trying to be impartial.
Yeah. So we'll see. But I mean, it works. You don't really know where he's going to go in that one, so I'm sure there'll be some things there. You got a rematch with Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker once again for the Intercontinental Championship. We'll talk about if Braun will finally break through and get that. We'll do that on our predictions next week. Logan Paul versus LA Knight is official for the United States Championship, as we all kind of suspected. Obviously, for the women's title, Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. Rhea making her first, singles appearance since coming back, so that should be pretty anticipated. Bayley and Nia Jax for the other women's championship. Of course, Damian versus Gunther for the heavyweight title, and Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa for the undisputed title. Card is pretty much confirmed and coming together. JPO, you think that's going to be final, or anything else get added, or does that seem like maybe we got our card and let's just build up to it over the next?
I mean, the fact that they're doing 7,
right?
For once feels like a full potential card. So, I would guess probably final, but I'm not sure. Like, what else is there? What else is big enough that's been kind of teased? I don't know if there is anything. So,
I mean, I guess just no other like bloodline match or anything, with Jacob Fatu or the Gorillas or anything. I don't know if maybe they'll add a last minute 6-man tag or something with Jacob. That would be the only thing I would think that you would add is maybe something with Fatu or the Gorillas, last minute. I don't know.
Well,
you don't have to. They're probably going to get involved in the solo match at somehow. You know what I mean? Like they're going to be involved in that.
They'll have a presence. They'll have a presence.
Right. Yeah.
Well, they attached DIY, but I don't know if that's going to lead to anything. But they could. But yeah, I don't know. I do like people saying they've lent into Gunther being the heel in that feud. Like, no, you're homeless. You're a bum. Yeah. Why don't you just gonna? So yeah, Damian Priest is going to go full babyface soon. I'm thinking, he'll be babyface in the match. It'll be interesting to see how the crowd reacts in the match because he hasn't really gone full babyface yet. So, but yeah, be interesting. Maybe they'll do something. The other thing maybe they'll add is something to do with Chad and the Creed brothers versus the White Six, potentially.
I don't know. That seems maybe I can see the reverse of that is maybe them doing something with Otis and stuff like that. That's still kind of not done either.
Yeah. Well, and I guess we'll save it, for the predictions next week overall as far as discussion wise. But we'll discuss. Yeah, we'll discuss if if we think somebody on the other side of the bloodline will make it. If we see maybe a return of Jimmy Uso or maybe even potentially a Roman Reigns appearance. We'll talk about that. Obviously on
Nicolao who signed.
Yes. We'll talk about we can make separate predictions for that, but obviously there's something probably on the horizon for that pretty soon. I feel like it's about time to kind of either bring at least Jimmy or Roman or somebody back to even the odds a little bit, or just kind of get that going a little bit. But we'll see, and we'll talk about that. So anything else on the on the news front you guys want to discuss? Yeah, please.
I don't feel like they mentioned it once on Dynamite. Correct me if I'm wrong, Richie. But once again, Battle of the Belts is sneakily snuck up on us. That's also on Saturday, by the way. In case you're wondering.
I forgot about it until you just mentioned it. So yeah,
I only found out because I went to my Sling DVR to make sure the sci-fi stuff was saved, and that's when I went, "Oh shit, Battle of the Belts! All right, thank you, DVR, for remembering."
Have they added any matches?
I remember them advertising it. I see the one thumbnail is Tony Storm and Taya Valkyrie, which was alluded to this week very briefly, that like maybe she's also kind of like starting to team with was it Deonna Purrazzo? So
yeah,
I'm glad
I'd watch these if they had. I'd watch them if they had any consequence, because I mean, you know, like we all know Tony Storm's not going to lose because she's building up to Mariah May. It's like,
she's not going to lose because this match wasn't even mentioned on Dynamite. Like there's zero mentions on Dynamite. I don't recall, and they'll probably allude to some of it on Rampage. Nah, these shows are very much. I don't know if anything important to really happen. Yeah.
Well, that's good because I'll be able to see Dynamite next week. Want to know why? Because I'll be there. Yeah,
Nice.
because it's in Greenville next week, right down the road from me. So I'll be at Dynamite next week.
Nice.
So,
I got a couple cool weeks coming up. Pretty soon I'll be attending some TNA tapings. That'll be cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then right after that, like a couple weeks later, I'll be doing NWA tapings. I'm excited to see how that's going to go.
I might be able to see you on camera, considering how few people on the crowd on that.
They might just win the match because they're like, yeah, we're running out of people.
Bring your gear as always. Bring your gear. You never know. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm going to Dynamite. I'll be back in Jacksonville a few weeks after that, reffing for USWA again. So for our show, so that should be fun. And then I'm considering, maybe going. Bad Blood is in Atlanta. That's only 3 hours from me, so there's a potential I could go to Bad Blood maybe, as they just announced. So if something cool gets announced for that, maybe I'll consider that. There's even a SmackDown right after that, kind of the fallout of Bad Blood in Greenville as well. So, a couple things kind of in my general vicinity coming up. So that should be interesting. I do know JPO isn't Revolution again in Orlando, or if you consider maybe going to that. I know that's not too far from your neck of the woods, right? But
when is that?
Revolution isn't it in December? Is that a December thing, right?
I think it's January.
Or January? Yeah, it's kind of an end of beginning of the year sort of thing.
Is it Revolution or is it World's End?
Or World's End, one of the two. Whatever one's in Orlando.
World's End is usually December.
It's possible. It's not a possibility. Maybe.
Yeah.
Are they doing what would they do in October? Was it Wrestle Dream? Yeah. So I'm just trying to keep remember all the pay-per-views now, because I do like 5, 6 now. So Wrestle Dream.
December 28th, World's End in Orlando at the at that UCF arena down there. Yeah, that UCF arena there.
Yeah, we still got All In, All Out September, Wrestle Dream, Full Gear, and World's End. So we are now at the point where there is a pay-per-view every single month. Yeah.
It wouldn't shock me if you eventually get 12. I don't know if I want them, but I think I assume we'll probably get 12. We'll get once a month, sort of thing.
Well, yeah, I'm fine with that. Just announce that Max deal that apparently internationally they're on Max right now, or they've debuted on Max. So that was also kind of interesting to note that I posted something in our little group thing about that literally if you're overseas on Max, they have an AEW page now that has past Dynamites, past pay-per-views, past Rampages, all that kind of stuff, with different tabs, for Dynamite, for Collision, for whatever. Again, hey, great, man, debut that thing here in the United States. I'm sure you'll get some hits on it, people checking it out. Again, I would watch Dynamite more or Collision and whatnot, even if you uploaded it, a few days later, or a week later, whatever. I would still probably go check it out, especially just for some of the matches alone, some of Ospreay's matches, MJF stuff, whatever. That MJF Ospreay match I'd love to see, that was almost an hour, or, I'd love to see it on TV if I could. And I certainly would if it was on Max, but maybe that means it's closer than we think.
Hey, HBO, bring Max to Australia. We don't even have Max here. I have to watch it on the show. It's actually on Dynamite and Rampage are on ESPN here, ESPN 2.
Oh, I wish it was on ESPN Plus or something. I have ESPN Plus. That'd be cool if it was, or it was somehow tied to TNT or whatever. I'd actually watch it. But yeah, no, maybe that means a Max deal is at least on the table now. So that would be pretty cool. But that'd be great. Yeah, if they did, even just some of the lower level pay per views on a Max type system, like Peacock, I'd be down. I'd watch them. So. But yeah, so I mean, that's kind of most of the news. Any other tidbits? Anything else? You good? Everybody else good? We just I know we're kind of building up to SummerSlam, so I'm sure there'll be some more stuff on the next week or two. Kind of finalizing that. We'll get some more Wembley build up, some more of that card kind of filling out. I guess next week on Dynamite, I'll get whatever blood and guts fall out, after that, maybe some more Wembley, build up. Hopefully, hey, maybe Ospreay has a match, and I'll get to see Ospreay again live, against somebody. So it seems like he has a match almost every week now. So at least against somebody. So we'll see.
Congrats to Ronda Rousey, who evidently is expecting her second child.
Okay. Good. Yeah.
And rumors has it, one of us is the father. Tune in next week to find out who.
Hey, Jerry. No.
I'll be like, hey, wasn't Jake?
You are the father. That's right.
You just gonna call like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Hey. Not opposed to it, but yeah, no, I mean, it'll be kind of a shorter Lonely Marks this evening, which I'm not opposed to, because all we really had on the docket for tonight was news and SummerSlam '94, which I guess we can kind of go ahead and get to and just kind of talk about here. Because it's all right. You can have a kind of a shorter week. We decided to do this because Jacob Barber wasn't going to be here, so a little something we could do that doesn't necessarily involve him. Like I said, next week we'll do our SummerSlam predictions. We'll be already kind of rolling up on SummerSlam here very soon. But yeah, we always like to kind of these bigger shows, maybe do a retro version of one of these. So yeah, we're going back in the time machine 30 years to SummerSlam 1994. A lot going on in the show. We'll talk about it, but some feuds, a couple of good matches, and we'll see kind of how it holds up. So I know, Richie, you watched it, right? You're good. GPO, you maybe had it on in the background at least or something.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Hey, but like we did last time we did a retro review, you want to hit us with some fun facts, in between matches, some competitors, maybe what they some of their future endeavors, after their time here, and whatnot, or any fun facts you want to hit us with, and with the competitors involved, I would certainly appreciate that. So have those ready. You're quick on the cage match. I always appreciate that. So hit us with some facts. But I'll hit you with some facts because we got SummerSlam 1994. Yeah, from the United Center, Chicago. They mentioned several times that this was a brand new venue at the time, and they had 23,000 people. So hell of a house for the United Center here for SummerSlam 1994. Vince McMahon and Jerry the King Lawler on commentary. So, again, I guess Jim Ross kind of right around the horizon, jumping on the commentary team. I know he jumped on probably in, 95 maybe? And they had a 3-man commentary crew, I think, for a while, I think.
Jim Ross debuted at that crazy WrestleMania in '93, so he might just not be there at the moment.
Yeah, there is those like short period of times where like Ross got fired and brought back and brought back kind of thing. So it could be around that. I don't know.
I don't know if he's fired. Maybe he's just not full time right now. Because that's
he's not full time.
He's there at the Caesar one, where he's dressed weird like everyone,
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And this was hosted by Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah, Macho Man Randy Savage, who he kind of technically opens the show. His music, he comes out in his full regalia to a nice pop, and just kind of basically gets on the mic, welcomes us.
Adam Bomb defeated Quang on the pre-show. Just thought we should.
Give him respect. I'm sure that was a banger of a match. I'm glad I didn't see that. Yeah, great. nice footnote. I'm sure the crowd got the crowd nice and going for the show.
I'm sure they were just as hot for that match as they were for the main
right. So Macho Man kind of comes out, does his thing, welcomes everybody to the United Center, kind of does his Macho Man thing. We're informed that Shawn Michaels and Diesel defeated the Head Shrinkers. They didn't really say where. I'd assume on a house show. To become new tag team champions?
They do. They do in an interview later when they're interviewing them. I think it was in Indianapolis, in Indiana.
They didn't mention whether it was a televised thing or just a house show.
I think it's a house show, but yeah. Looking back on it, I don't know. Considering what comes after, I don't know why they even bothered to take the titles of the Head Shrinkers. I feel like the Head Shrinkers would need the titles more than they did. But anyway.
Because now Kevin Nash has 2 titles just because, and I guess is it because he would, and spoiler alert, I guess lose his IC title later. I don't know.
And this opening contest could have, it would have meant more if it was a tag title match. I don't know. Just feel like it was.
Well, and given the finish, it wouldn't have mattered anyways because of the finish. But we'll talk about it just a quick note. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say I want to apologize. Richie was actually spot on. I believe Jim Ross is fired at this point. Yeah, they fired him in like early '94, and then it's because of I think the steroid scandal that they brought him back because Vince had to stop doing commentary. So I didn't realize they fired him that early on.
So he was tied up in court, so we needed somebody else to jump on commentary.
It sounds like it sounds like shit. We need somebody because they had because like I said, Ross is there at Mania '93 and does a couple pay-per-views and stuff, and then for whatever reason they parted ways for a little bit. Less than a year though, it seems like he was back.
But I guess I'm guessing what you were going to say is that there's a lot of the matches are good, but a lot of distraction finishes in this one.
I was going to say I almost could put a star next to almost all the matches tonight for matches that had interference because it was almost all of them tonight. Other than really the cage match, every match had interference almost.
But the cage match had distractions afterwards.
I had a lot of people jumping in afterwards. Yes, but almost every match leading up to that had some kind of distraction or interference sort of leading to a finish. I'll talk about it as we go along. But speaking of the Head Shrinkers, we got our opening contest as we've got Ted DiBiase kind of putting together this new $1 million corporation faction, with different people. He kind of makes several appearances throughout tonight. But his tag team of Bam Bam Bigelow and IRS, which I forgot was a tag team, literally until they came out, I was like, that's an odd tag team, Bam Bam and IRS, but okay. But all right, I mean, I'm not opposed to it. It was odd. But we got them, against the Head Shrinkers of Samu and Fatu, but also being accompanied by Captain Lou Albano and Alpha, who recently passed away, right? So
Fatu. I mean, he should, but Fatu really looked like one of the Usos here.
Obviously,
obviously, but it was like very. I'm like, wow, that's he really looks like. And then Samu is the father of I think Lance on Hawaii. I think that's.
And I was going to say, JPO, while I'm going through this one, we obviously know Fatu was Rikishi, went on to do his thing as Rikishi. I'm not as familiar with Samu. If you could hit me up what he was up to after this tag team broke up, I would appreciate that.
I was going to say too, real briefly, if you're like, oh yeah, Ben Bigelow and Iris were a tag team, forgot, don't feel bad because they had one Raw match. They defeat Tatanka and Doink a couple weeks before this, and a couple B shows, and then this is their last match together. Even though they have a nice opening win here, they never continued to tag again. So they might have been angles for a little bit longer. No, I'm saying. This match is their last match as a team, even though they won technically. So they might have been in angles together because they're in a part of a faction, but they never teamed again. In fact, they would fight on Raw against each other in May of next year. They'd be fighting each other. So.
Gotcha. All right. So we get things started here. So each team has kind of people at ringside helping them out. I mean, this definitely, Richie, we'll talk about it, turned into kind of a fun, big, mean, scary guy match. So I was actually pleasantly surprised with kind of how this played out. Because, we had some big, mean, scary guys in this one. We started out with Fatu and Bam Bam trading some shoulder tackles and some big hits. Fatu hits a big super kick kind of out of nowhere just to get things started. Bam Bam then fights back with an enziguri to Fatu. So both guys hitting kind of big kicks and quick, agile moves with these guys who definitely could move. But Bam Bam misses a top rope headbutt. Fatu follows it up with a big lariat and tags in Samu. They hit a double super kick on Bam. But Samu then slams IRS, who got the tag in there. But he misses a cross body. IRS goes over the top and gets attacked by Fatu on the outside. But Fatu gets a tag in, some double chops. Bam Bam tucks the ropes and Fatu goes to the outside. That was a big spot I saw over and over again tonight of people ducking the ropes, and somebody going over the top. I swear to God, I saw at least 8 people do that tonight, where somebody ran at the ropes and the guy kind of pulled the rope down. I swear that happened like over and over again tonight. It was just.
I feel like you don't see much the low bridge anymore, but yeah.
The low bridge was, if you like low bridges, this is the show for you. But back inside, Bam and Fatu have a big kind of big double clothesline collision, so they both go down. Samu tags in and hits big body drops to both Bam Bam and IRS. He gets a big top rope headbutt, but only gets 2. There's a double sort of. They tried to do like a double stroke, like the Jeff Jarrett move. It looked like shit. Yeah, I don't know if it just Bam Bam didn't know how to take it, but yeah, it looked really, really bad. And then they go for a cover for 2. But Fatu immediately goes up top and hits a huge, great top rope splash. Again, kind of reminiscent of sort of Umaga or Jacob Fatu. Yeah, he had a big splash here. It looked pretty good. But the ref gets distracted by kind of all the different people on the outside, just kind of start a big kerfuffle. There's people kind of interfering left and right. The ref's all over the place. But it kind of ends with Afa physically gets in the ring and starts hitting Bam Bam and IRS, and the referee sees that, so that is a disqualification. So the head shrinkers are disqualified. So Bam Bam and IRS do get the win via disqualification. And after the match, everybody's just kind of brawling up the aisle and big brawl kind of the outside, and the match kind of ends here. But Richie, I mean, like still entertaining match overall. Yeah, the stroke spot was wonky, but I thought at least for a couple of spots here and there, it was a kind of a cool, agile, big mean guy match, and I was kind of enjoying it for what it was. I wish it had actually gone a little longer.
Yeah, I thought this match was pretty good. I always thought that the head shrinkers finisher, like while it's kind of the optics looks cool, it's a bit when you break it down, it's a bit weird. But like how he like one of them stands near the corner and then the other one is on the top rope. On the top turnbuckle, because you basically the one person that's standing in the corner is basically an obstacle to jump over. So,
yeah, right. You're making it harder for him to just do this top rope splash. Just do the splash.
So that's room for error.
It'd be one thing if he was standing on his shoulders and he was a big tall guy, and then jumping off like that. They've done that spot before, but yeah, it's just like, yeah, it's a little odd, but it's all right.
But it still looks kind of cool. But yeah. I don't know. I don't like DQ finishes on a pay-per-view usually. Yeah, but like that's not my kind of. But yeah, the match before the finish was decent, and all 4 of these guys are decent workers. So I enjoyed the match pretty fine. Pretty good.
Yeah, JPO, any Samu follow-ups for me?
Yeah, I was gonna say, here's your Samu brief rundown here. Been around for a while, actually. Even doing WWF stuff in the mid '80s. He'd be there for a little bit here. WCW, NWA stuff in the late '80s. They would debut a couple of years prior in '92. They're the ones that lose to Shawn Michaels and Diesel. You see the tag titles the night before at a house show, not even a televised event. The night before they lose those tag titles to Diesel and Shawn at a house show here. They again wouldn't be long for the company here. Obviously, Rikishi would get repackaged to what was it? Do a good thing, Rikishi. What was his
and then the Sultan.
I was trying to go for the even lesser known, where he's like, just like do a good thing.
Yeah, do a good thing. Do a good thing. Too.
But Samu wouldn't last much longer. He'd be done by September. So literally about a month later, he'd be gone. He had several tryouts in '96, along with Alofa, another, not a loaf of bread, but Alofa, another Samoan that looks like they didn't get picked up though here. Brief ECW run, lots of indies, and then the most recent thing he's done is MLW. You can find him in the Battle Riots and a couple matches after that here. But even still, even according to this year, it looks like maybe during one of the Mania weekends, him and Lance in Hawaii fought the FBI and Little Guido and Tommy Rich. So still dabbling from the early to mid '80s.
Was that at that Mania like hardcore show, like the ECW type show? Maybe. Yeah.
He's an ECW alumni, so it tracks. Right.
Okay. Well, I mean, it still is cool, JPO. Yeah, 30 years ago to see kind of the bloodline in another form, alive and well, with Samu Fatu and Alpha. All over the beginning part of the show.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
30 years later, their legacy is still prominent on TV. Yeah. So still kind of cool to go back and see, all these guys doing their thing here. So. All right. We move on to a kind of recurring bit of the show. I remembered he was in, WWF made appearances, but yeah, this is the show where Leslie Nielsen is running around from the Naked Gun. Yeah, and not I mean, kind of playing Frank Drebin, but not really, because don't they kind of address them as Nielsen and George Kennedy? Yeah, I mean, this is around the time of Naked Gun 33 1/3, so I mean, I guess it makes sense. They're still, doing their thing, but he's definitely sort of playing Frank Drebin here. But yeah, I never really understand what they were doing in these segments. They're looking for Undertaker, sort of, or something.
They're looking for Undertaker, but and it's then he runs into George Kennedy.
I mean, I was happy to see George Kennedy. I was like, because he's in the movies, and I was just happy to see him too. It wasn't just Nielsen. I was like, oh, there's George Kennedy. Like, that's cool. And they see, like a Taker figure in the hallway, but then they get closer and he's gone or something. Yeah, I mean, again, it gets weird. We'll talk about it later, not to jump ahead, but like the Takers were out in the ring for the main event, and then they're still looking later. I don't understand. Why why you wouldn't just wait by the ring and wait for them to come out of the match and you would find them, but okay. And it's just, it seems like, hey, we had them, we want to do something, we couldn't really figure out what to do for them, so they're just wandering around. But he does like kind of a narration, and they're running around backstage a couple of times, so we'll talk about them. But anyway, so it's a weird aside I forgot about, but there you go. So we get to our second match for the women's title. We got the women's champion Alundra Blaze, who would go on to become Medusa. Obviously, actually, both these women would go on. I'm sure JPO will fill me in, but they both went on to go to WCW shortly after this.
And wrestle each other.
And wrestle each other in WCW, yes. Taking on Bull Nakano, recent Hall of Fame inductee, Bull Nakano. So we've seen her very recently, who is way, way skinnier now. She is tiny now at that Hall of Fame ceremony. She has aged very, very well. So I would give her a compliment. She looks great. But yeah, we had Bull Nakano and Alundra Blaze. I was looking forward to this. I like Bull. But yeah, so we kind of start things off hot. Bull goes right after Alundra and gives her a couple quick clotheslines and a running drop kick. Kind of does a thing where she grabs Alundra's hair and gives her these kind of violent looking, hair tosses, tossing her across the ring a couple of times. She gives her another big standing clothesline and a leg drop, really kind of taking it to her and dominating the match here. She chokes her on the ropes, but Alundra finally counters with a big Hurricane Rana and then a big spinning wheel kick off the ropes. But Bull cuts her off and then gives her kind of a choke bomb, not quite like a Baldo bomb, but just kind of picks her up, chokes her, and kind of throws her.
Like a tree slam.
Yeah, kind of a tree slam, and then kind of puts on a Boston Crab on Blaze, but holds both of her legs together instead of spread apart.
Yeah. They're like, oh, it's Boston Crab. I'm like, sort of, I guess.
Not quite, sort of, but sort of a version of a Boston Crab, I guess. But then she puts her in a pretty cool submission where she's got her in like almost like a Texas clover leaf, but then turns it over and grabs her arms and pulls her up and hoists her up. That was a pretty cool looking submission. Just kind of holding her up straight up in the air, locking her in. That was pretty cool.
I think Rhea Ripley does that now too.
It looked pretty great. And then puts her in a cross arm breaker as well, trying to get the submission. But yeah, Blaze tries to fight back and kind of slams her down by the hair a couple of times to try to fight back. She goes for a power bomb, but that obviously does not work. Bull backdrops her, gives her another big clothesline. Blaze tries to fight back with a big backslide, but only gets two. Bull gives her a body slam, goes up top. She misses a top rope leg drop, and then right after that, Alundra hooks her up for a German suplex and bridges back for the 3 count. So she's able to fight off this big Bull Nakano and keep her title. Richie, I thought this was a pretty damn fun match and a really good showcase for Bull. She looked great, and Alundra was kind of a great sort of babyface in peril, has some real fire to her. I thought this was a pretty damn solid women's match. What do you think?
Yeah, it was great because great women's matches are hard to come by at this time,
especially around this time. Yeah,
I mean, women's matches are hard to come by at this time. But I think these two are kind of holding the flag bearers at this at this point. I think Elijah Blaze had a really good bridging German suplex. It always looked really good. And I mean, like Bull took most of the match, but yeah, she's a good. Alondra is a good babyface in peril. The only negative is not them. It was this is when I realized, like, so I always thought like maybe because I was just, I had like, I don't know, maybe I was remembering it wrong because I was like, oh, you know what, Vince wasn't as bad of a commentator as people say he is. But then I watched this. It was this match, and then going forward from this match, I'm like, nah, he's annoying me. Because it's like he gets way too excited about like a pin. Oh, is it doing? No. Is he doing it? No. The match is 30 seconds old.
Bridge cover.
Is he gonna win? Okay, go. Oh no. Oh, did he get it? He got it. No, he didn't. Like, shut up every time. Like, you don't know who has to do it every pin. He does it every pin.
Well, at least he's paying attention to the match, because half of the time when he does commentary, they're talking about other things, and at least, I think it most annoyed me during the Taker match. We'll talk about it because you alluded to kind of it's really annoying with them, talking about how one's the real and one's. We'll get into it. It's bad. It's really bad. But
he had a line that I put in the chat that was really funny. Immediately.
Right.
But yeah, the match in general though is really good against professional golfer Bull Nakano.
That's right. JBO, hit me with some facts about these ladies, because recent Hall of Famer Bull Nakano, Alundra Blaze.
I wonder how good this match would get, because this is about their 15th time wrestling one-on-one. They would go on to have over 70 matches. These two would be tied to the hip. Lots of house shows too. I mean, countless WWF house shows here, and yes, they would in fact meet up in WCW again. Lunch would last about a little bit over a year longer. It should be at the tail end of 95, and then finally in WCW in early 96 here. In fact, technically, Medusa Alundra is technically kind of Bull's last match here in August of 96. When Nakano would pop up in two different gauntlet matches in 2012 and 2017, but her last singles match would end up being Alundra / Medusa here. And last time we saw Medusa was at the 2018 Rumble. Last time we saw her.
That's right. Yeah.
Professional.
Her first match in 18 years. She hadn't done anything since WCW closed. And even then, it's in the year 2000.
Professional monster truck driver Medusa.
She went on to do the monster truck driving for a little while. I think I saw a couple of monster truck shows. I used to go to them in Jacksonville at the big stadium there, so Jaguar Stadium. And I seem to remember a Medusa truck. That was a thing for a while. So hey, kudos to her for stepping up to the big boys.
She's also a 24/7 champion. So if you count that,
that's right. And didn't she sell her belt to DiBiase? Was that like a spot? I think something like that. I thought she was about to trash it, but DiBiase bought it from her. Wasn't that a thing? I thought it was.
Well, she definitely drops it, and all I remember is the infamous dropping it in the trash can. If there was more, maybe I just know the clip that plays over and over again. She legit drops it in the trash. That was one of those big firing points of like, oh wow, a WWF title. It's that pink title, WWF title on. WWF
no, we're talking about the 24/7 title. We're talking about 24/7.
I was talking about 24/7 title.
Yeah, that sounds right. I don't know. I can look it up.
No, I know. I'm well aware of her dumping the WCW spot where she dropped the trash.
I was even about to say like Pez.
I want to say the 24/7 thing. I've seen the clip where she teases doing it to the 24/7 title, and then DiBiase comes out and buys it from her. I'm pretty sure that was that spot.
No, you must be right.
To avoid taking a bump.
Yes.
And then it's funny because
don't forget Candice Michelle's a former champ. Alundra, Ted DiBiase, Drake Maverick, blah blah blah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then they would end up throwing it in the trash anyway. Well, Nikki Cross would try to throw it in the trash, and she missed the trash.
Yeah, she missed it and it falls over. I would have loved it. I guess Dana Brooks gone by now, but I thought it would be funny if they pulled the Jim Duggan, or like just years later they go back to the same arena and someone finds it. It's like, oh shit,
it's just still there. They haven't taken out the trash.
And nobody takes it.
It didn't fall in the trash, so they just find it in like a corner.
Right.
It would actually make more sense than what Duggan did.
Gotcha. But yeah, we go backstage with Todd Pettingale, who would kind of be our backstage guy for the show. He's with HBK and Diesel and their new tag team titles. So, fun fact: I'm watching this with my girlfriend. She could not stop snickering at Sean's outfit tonight. She said it was the gayest thing she's ever seen.
It looks like he's in a sex dungeon.
It looks like he was like prime, front and center for like a gay park showcase. I pulled up just his outfit.
It's ridiculous.
This is the SummerSlam '94
That's
outfit
great.
with his hat and the arm thing that I swear the guy from School of Rock, the guy who like plays in the No Vacancy band, just the arm thing with no chest. Yeah, Sean's got that thing going on, and just it was the zebra stripes. It was the whole thing. She could not stop shaking her head and laughing at how. She just said he looked like the gayest ever. So just I don't know. She could not stop snickering. But yeah, they cut a promo just about winning the titles and whatnot, and just kind of your typical kind of Shawn and Diesel promo. And then yeah, we get to Diesel's got a match. We got for the Intercontinental title. We've got I think we all know where these guys went shortly after this, or not too long after this, but we got Diesel, the Intercontinental Champion, being challenged by Razor Ramon, who is accompanied to the ring by Walter Payton of the Chicago Bears, kind of legendary Hall of Famer Walter Payton. So they each kind of have somebody at ringside. He would come into play just a little bit later. But yeah, they started pretty hot. Razor attacks him pretty quickly with some right hands, so much so that Diesel had to powder out and confer with Shawn a little bit. Diesel goes back in, tries a big boot, but misses, and Razor fights back with some big elbows. There's some choking in the corner, big kind of hair slam to Razor, kind of similar to the Bull Alundra stuff. But eventually Diesel puts a sleeper on Razor, but Razor fights back with a big back suplex. I will say, Razor, man, Scott Hall tonight was like, hey, Kev, you're going to fucking wrestle me tonight. Let's go. I'm going to make you move. Because boy, was he moving tonight. And that was probably all Scott Hall.
I'm like,
oh, dude. Yeah, no. Scott was making Kev move tonight. I'm sure that's because they were buddies. He's like, yeah, we're having a good match tonight, whether you want to or not. Because we'll talk about it. But it's a pretty good match. But yeah, Razor hits a big back suplex. Razor then gets tossed over the top rope. But while they're kind of brawling outside, Shawn jumps up top and takes the turnbuckle cover off of one of the turnbuckles, and then HBK hits a big running clothesline to Razor on the outside while the referee was with Walter Payton, so he kind of jumps off the stairs and hits a big clothesline. Back in the corner, Diesel does his usual, Kevin Nash knees and elbows and all the usual kind of corner stuff that Nash does, his 6 moves of doom. But Razor gets whipped into the exposed turnbuckle and then catches a side slam from Big Kev, but only gets a 2 count. It's a big snake eyes, one of Kev's other big moves of doom, hits the big running snake eyes to Razor, and then he leaps into the ropes onto Razor and hits a big elbow drop for 2 count as well. They do the kind of classic abdominal stretch spot where Kev keeps going to kind of grab the ropes and the ref doesn't see it. I've done this spot literally as a referee several times on the indie scene. It's the same spot you've seen over and over again, where the referee then kicks the arm and whatnot, the whole shebang. But Diesel eventually gets whipped himself into the open buckle, but only gets a 2 count for Razor there. He hits a couple more right hands and then pulls Diesel, kind of trips him, and then pulls him into the turnbuckle post, groin first. So Kev's in a little bit of trouble here. He then jumps up top and hits a top rope bulldog, a la Rick Steiner, for a 2 count. Maybe he was watching some of Rick's matches over there, and then follows it up with a scoop slam, but still only gets a 2 count. Can't put Diesel away. And then Razor eventually puts Diesel on top, but he gets knocked off. Diesel goes for the big jackknife, but he gets backdropped and countered. Shawn jumps up on the apron. This is where we kind of start to get some of the interference and whatnot from both guys, the big kerfuffle. Diesel hits a big kind of leaping shoulder tackle. And while the referee is with Walter Payton, again, there was kind of a lot going on. It's like Shawn and Walter both kind of outside with the ref. There's a lot of distraction kind of going on. But eventually the ref is with Walter Payton in the ring. Diesel's holding Razor. Shawn gets in the ring, goes for the big sweet chin music, but misses Razor and gives the big super kick to Diesel. And then Razor's eventually able to, after what seemed like forever, able to crawl over and get the 3 count after the super kick. And we have a new IC champion as Razor Razor Ramon pins Diesel after that miscommunication. And then after the match, obviously Diesel is very, very mad at Shawn for kicking him and losing his title. So, other than they then show a replay of the super kick Richie from another angle, and it looked way worse. Like he barely kicked him, even barely touched him in the chest on the super kick. It looked pretty bad. They just kind of mistimed it, but you get the idea of the finish. But still, overall, I thought a pretty good match. Yeah, Scott really drags a good match out of Kev here, and he kept it fairly fast paced, and still had some big moves and stuff. I don't know, what do you think? I thought it was pretty good match.
Yeah, I thought it was better than I thought it was going to be. It was a lot of fun. I would say Kevin Nash coming out had the worst music. It wasn't even really music. It was before he had they piped in like other music. So at this point, it was just a truck horn.
It was just the truck horn, and eventually it would do that, and then they would add like that, and that's a much better. Yeah, much better. This is before that. It's literally just and there's like a pause, and cranking of the engine, Yeah,
it was like when Dr. Isaac Yankem would come out to a drill. It's like what? But this match was good. But yeah, because they were setting up the breakup, and obviously the lead to ultimately to Diesel's babyface run and subsequent title win. You're like, did you really need the tag titles? Did you really need to take the tag titles off head shrinkers who could have needed it more? But anyway, this match was in itself was pretty good. Razor Ramon is a huge star at this point. Again, it's very frustrating. Like, he should have been the world champion, especially around this time. You could have given a huge push at this point and put the belt on him.
Well, I think you can say that about two guys on this show, that like both Razor and Owen were like this close to being, world champion, and could have really made a push for either one of them to kind of step over that line and be there.
Yeah.
I think the crowd would have been fine with either one. Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about especially Owen. We'll talk about Owen, but I think we'll talk about it very soon. But Owen definitely was this about as close as he gets to champion, I think. In this match.
Like Razor Ramon's kind of looked at every bit of star, and then the crowd was super hot. Like why would you not? Yeah, I just think that he was everything like Vince would probably want in a star. So I don't know why they didn't pull the trigger there. But by the way, this match is pretty good. Probably one of them.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, obviously, JBL, we're all pretty familiar with Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. I mean, not too much mystery as to where these guys went afterwards, but if you had any fun facts, I mean, you can feel free with that.
Real briefly here. Yeah, this is the one and only IC title reign of Diesel here. He actually won it from Razor Ramon, so it's a bit of a flip-flop situation here. Not too much, though, because it was back in April on Superstars. Way shorter of a match, 10 minutes shorter in a 5-minute match. This one goes a little over 15. So good to see that, like you guys said, Razor brings a really good match out of him. Not a very good IC title reign either, by the way, despite being 100-some days. Diesel only has 2 defenses, both of them ending with him losing in disqualification. So not really a memorable IC title reign when you look back on it. A lot of people forget, too, that these two would team somehow while being in WCW. They were still teaming in the WWF in 97. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I don't know how that happened.
Get it, the fake Diesel, fake Razor.
Yeah, fake Diesel. Yeah, no, Vince loves his fake guys.
To the detriment of the audience.
Yeah, he just loves his fake guys that we like to pretend are the real guys, and just completely, just playing it completely straight, like we don't know the difference.
Walter Payton, I think, would pass away like 4 years after this. Like, he didn't,
really?
Yeah. He had like liver disease or something. I looked it up.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, no, it's sad. But he's got a pretty good exhibit at the Canton Hall of Fame. Me and my dad have been there, but he was a Hall of Famer, I think, at this point. So we go again backstage. We got Todd Pettengill with Lex Luger and Tatanka, and so basically there's kind of a story of this match, and we get some, kind of while Tatanka's talking, we get kind of this video package kind of catching us up where it's this whole big thing where sort of a conspiracy that Lex Luger is possibly sold out to Ted DiBiase and has kind of joined his faction. They're passing bags around. DiBiase's going into his locker room, here and there, coming out for some of his matches. This whole thing where, as we would find out, not to get ahead, but Tatanka was projecting really hard here, and projecting what was really going on, as we would see.
They even did a fan poll.
Hotline polls. Is Lex Luger a sellout? 54% to 46%. Say yes, he sold out. The whole thing. So, but again, it makes for a weird dynamic because, as we'll talk about in this match, I don't know who the heel and the face are supposed to be in this match. Because I think the crowd didn't know either. Because half the crowd is kind of still with Luger, half the crowd's kind of still with Tatanka. It's almost like a babyface match, but like the crowd doesn't know what to do with that, at this time. So we'll talk about it. But we get to this match pretty quickly after that. So we do have Tatanka versus Made in the USA, Lex Luger in his all USA gear here in 1994. I seem to remember one of the video games had him in this all. I think it was that arcade game, the WrestleMania arcade game. He was in this gear, like the All-American gear, around this time.
The one where it's very cartoony, where like Undertaker throws
tombstones
at you.
They throw tombstones.
100%.
Doink is doing the hand buzzer, electrocution, all that.
I think that's in your house. That's in your house now.
Explode.
No, well, there was two games of the style. There was an in house and a WrestleMania arcade game.
Oh yeah. They were both that style. Yeah, so it was probably WrestleMania around that time.
Yeah, they just had different rosters, but that was a fun little game. Yeah, it was a
this would be Mania. In your house is a little bit later with like Warriors Return.
Like 1, 2, 3 kid in it and stuff like that.
But I know JP, you can fill me on the. I remember Tatanka came back in like 05 or 06. Maybe you can fill me in on that run. Look that up and fill me in, and we'll get to that because this match isn't very long. We'll get to it in just a second.
He also obscurely showed up in a Andre the Giant Battle Royal, and he wasn't announced. And then the commentator's like, "Oh, it's Tatanka."
I'm sure he'll get to that. I'm sure it's
same year as DDP. Yeah, it was very random. They've never done that since. I want to say, like, have random legends,
All right, but we do have Luger and Tatanka here, so these guys kind of have some hard tie-ups around the ring. It kind of takes forever. They're trading holds and just kind of doing their thing. Again, crowd's pretty dead for this one because I think they just don't know who to root for in this one. They're not really sure who the babyface is, but they kind of trade some holds and things back and forth. Eventually, Tatanka kind of picks things up with a leaping cross body. Luger fights back with a vertical suplex for 2. He misses an elbow drop. Tatanka then hits a couple of tomahawk chops and a power slam, and then he does his kind of dancing chops, where he kind of does his, skipping around the ring, his native dance and chops and native dance chops thing, and eventually gets a 2 count with that. And he hits his own suplex for a 2. He goes up top, hits a big top rope tomahawk chop for a 2. But then Luger eventually fires back with some clotheslines and a power slam of his own. DiBiase eventually comes, makes his way out to the ringside, and then Luger gets distracted via money as DiBiase's throwing money around in the ring, and he's got the bag and whatnot full of money. And while he's distracted, Tatanka comes up in Schoolboy, some of the most devastating move in sports entertainment, especially for the 24/7 title. Rolls him up with a Schoolboy for a 3 count. So he does get the win. But then it kind of is more about the post-match here because DiBiase comes into the ring. Luger's refusing the money, but then Tatanka attacks and reveals that he's actually with Ted DiBiase. It's a swerve, brother. It's a swerve as Tatanka turns heel here, and he aligns himself with Ted DiBiase, and he kind of has a pretty prolonged attack here. He hits a couple of some standing Samoan drops, some chops. They go to leave, and then DiBiase sends him back. He kind of wails on him some more, and then eventually puts him in a $1 Million Dream. DiBiase's kind of a almost Cobra Clutch looking sleeper hold there. And and then everybody's just shocked, I say, with this post-match attack. But so Tatanka wins in a fairly boring match because, again, the crowd doesn't really know what to do with it. But Richie, what'd you think of this one?
Yeah, it's pretty boring. If you get one thing to look at, JP, how long is he in? Is Tatanka Money Incorporated? I don't feel like it's that long. I don't even feel like it.
I don't remember this. I don't remember this at all. This him being aligned with DiBiase like at all, or even this heel run. So it can't be that long.
I don't want to be insensitive because I think Tatanka's all right worker. But do you think that he only got this push because this is the same year Dances with Wolves came out?
No, Dances with Wolves came out in 1990.
Did it come out? Oh, really? Okay, I thought it came out in 94 because I was like, because sometimes they do that.
4 years earlier. That's way earlier than this.
because I was like, I wouldn't put it past them to be like, oh look, this thing come up, let's push this person. But like,
It was 2 years after Last of the Mohicans. Does that count?
maybe I don't know. But anyway, I just think like it's interesting because it does suck. There was the fall from grace for Lex Luger, who was like like kind of positioned as this like next big thing, and now he's losing to Tatanka.
Well, I mean, but to be fair, Luger almost pretty much a year later with the first Nitro was on WCW. So I mean, I think
I know, but
it did renew his career in WCW. I feel like so
at this period where WWE just have lost all. They're like, hey, you're not the star. I'm like, yeah, because you tried to push him like Hulk Hogan, and he's not Hulk Hogan. But I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know if they even pushed Tatanka past this point. I feel like this is the most high-profile match Tatanka's been in. But it was a match. It was when the heel. This was back when like heel face dynamic kind of mattered more. So because the crowd was like, "Why don't we cheer for?" And there was like sort of an issue with the main event too, sort of. Where like, I don't know who you were. Right. That's what it is. But yeah, so it was a match.
All right, JPO, what you got for me? I know you looked up that Tatanka career. What you got?
I looked up some. Yeah, I was very Tatanka heavy more than Luger here because that's who I was trying to look up.
No, please.
So even though they might be, I think it's just because they were kind of a jobber faction. Not too much after this. He'd be part of the $1 Million Corporation till his very end, which is March of '96. So this goes on for well over about a year and a half later. He's gone by March of '96, but let's see here. Yeah, him and 1-2-3 Kid, who would end up turning, fighting with him. They re-teaming literally a couple weeks before he'd be gone. So which would then be interesting because, as you said too earlier, you didn't think we'd ever see Tatanka again, but then about 9 years later, he popped back up in the Eugene Invitational. Was his first appearance back, taking on Eugene of all people here, and I guess WWE was like, hey. He's kind of good looking, or good looking, in good shape. So he would be there for about another 2 years, actually, on and off. Not on and off, but not as used always, but another couple of years. It's kind of similar to the same time frame as Road Warrior Animal returning.
Yeah.
So, we like him. Let's give him another quick little run ski here. He'd had one random TNA match with Jay Lethal back in 2009. Lethal had fought a few different legends, I think, during that little gimmick here. And there's got to be that one random WrestleMania we're talking about. 2016, the one with Baron Corbin winning. Yeah, he'd pop up in there randomly. Very random. I'm sure it's just like everyone who just kind of watching, seeing the usual, guys that weren't on the main card going, oh, shit. Oh, it's the same one as Shaq, too. So really weird one. Shaq, Diamond Dallas Page, and Tatanka being your kind of outliers.
Yeah.
Like I said, they've never done since.
That Jay Lethal gimmick was weird because remember, that was around the same time where, he fought Jim Neidhart, and the crowd were like, "You still got it." I'm like, "Does he?
No, does he really? Not really, no."
And he lost to Jim Neidhart.
I do wonder if Tatanka is retired. He has his matches up until at least late last year. I don't see anything for 2024 though. So I know up to the last I saw him, he was still looking like he was in pretty good shape. But maybe
I know his son does like amateur wrestling. I don't know if he's gonna.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
And as far as the push too, I did notice that he would fight Razor Ramon on Raw about a month later for the IC title. The $1 Million Corporation does have a win over Luger and his team at Survivor Series. But pay-per-view wise, it didn't really seem like much went on past that.
Okay, gotcha. Maybe I think like 95, 96 is my main blind spot as far as WWF goes. Like that really like hard mid, because that was when I think they were kind of at their low point when WCW was kind of kicking their ass for a little while, and I was just like,
this is of course a year later. Luger's infamous, debuting on Nitro.
Yeah. So at least he would go on to kind of bigger things at least for a little while in WCW. So kind of renewed his purpose.
How might he get fallen too? Because don't forget, a year ago, Luger's. People thinking he's about to be the world champion.
And then he defeats Yokozuna via countout and doesn't win the title. And then celebrates like he won the title. And everybody went,
their shoulders with confetti.
You're celebrating with confetti and you didn't win the title.
We already paid for the confetti. We gotta fucking use it.
But yeah, so we cut really quickly to Gorilla Monsoon at the hotline, trying to get a hold of, trying to figure out this whole DiBiase, Tatanka situation. But out of
A
nowhere,
wild slapnuts appears.
Double J, Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, I was going to say Gorilla Monsoon said that Tatanka was a disgrace to Native Americans. That's a bit harsh.
Damn.
Yeah, that's very harsh. I don't think the actions of one guy, but no, I had to re-pull the clip because yes, we do a retro review, and God damn it, whatever retro review we do, fucking Jeff Jarrett's on it. I swear to God, I don't know how it is. It's a TV. It's like the TVA, JPO. Like he's somehow in every timeline, in every promotion,
Every timeline.
every timeline he's there. Because God damn it, he comes
It's on
out.
Dynamite.
Dude,
He's on Dynamite this week.
He's somehow in every
He's
show
really
we
hot
watch.
with guitar.
Doesn't matter what we pick, Jeff Jarrett's on it. Even the one I did with the one I did with Malcolm, he's fucking on it. the last retro show we did on here, he's on it. he's everywhere. But yeah, so Wild Slap Nuts appears, and here's Double J as he's got just kind of a random match here. Yeah, not really any build up. It's basically just billed as rap versus country.
Yeah, like before, right before the WCW one, where it was the
rap is crap.
It's rednecks versus
which I the show I did with Malcolm, the Bash 99 had the No Limit Soldiers and the rap is crap thing. So weird parallel thing there because that video is great. We have Jeff Jarrett taking on Mabel of the Men on a Mission, accompanied by Oscar, of course, his hype man, as they do their best to kind of get the crowd into this one, and they're at least into the entrance. But after that, not so much. We'll talk about it. Pretty short match here, but both guys kind of trade struts to start out with. Double J does his strut. Mabel attempts a strut, and it looks. Whatever he tries, but he does one. But then Double J hits another one of his. So they go back and forth. Impressively, Jeff Jarrett does a leapfrog over Mabel. That was pretty impressive, actually. He's not a small guy, but he leapfrogs him. But Mabel eventually drops an elbow and hits a slam on him to cut him off. He takes Jarrett to the outside and kind of brawls with him a little bit. But back inside the ring, Double J drops Mabel with a drop toe hold and hits a big top rope fist. Tries to get a 2 count. He hits some top double axe handles off the top, but Mabel stays on his feet. He doesn't go down. Double J jumps on his back and tries kind of the piggyback sleeper, trying to take the big man down. Mabel squashes him in the corner, but he jumps back on him again and still is trying that sleeper. Can't quite get him down. Eventually, Mabel fights back with that kind of spinning combo kick he used to do. That was always pretty impressive, for his size. That's the same one that Loki does. And it's like, hey, Viscera used to do that too. But pretty impressive. But he hits that to Jarrett, and then. But eventually, Jarrett tries to fight back. He hits the ropes and tries to hit a big crossbody, but Mabel catches him and hits almost like a world's strongest slam for a 2 count. And then Oscar on the outside of the ring, as Jeff Jarrett kind of powders out blatantly in front of the referee, just slaps Jeff Jarrett, which should be a DQ because that's outside interference. But I guess the ref doesn't give a shit. He's literally looking at him slapping Jeff Jarrett around, and it's not a DQ. But inside the ring, Mabel actually goes for a big top rope splash. That was scary. and misses, but he's so
really
suck.
He's so big that I don't know if it would be like the Big Show coming out of this splash. He can't connect because it would fucking crush him.
Yeah, he would crush him. Yeah, but he misses, and Jarrett tries to cover, but only gets a 2. And eventually, here with the finish, Jeff Jarrett tries to go for a sunset flip, of course, which is, kind of a dubious endeavor. But Mabel goes for the sit-down splash, but he misses that. And then Jarrett just kind of cradles his legs and hooks him over and gets a 3 count. So he's able to kind of counter that and get the 3. And yeah, that's it. I mean, it's only about a 5-minute match or so. Most of it is kind of Mabel heavy, kind of an extended squash, but Jeff Jarrett gets the win. I don't know what you think of this. Like it was kind of a TV match. Like this seemed like it kind of belonged on Raw or something. Not really.
I feel like they probably just did it for time's sake. I don't know. Jeff Jarrett probably. I don't know. Maybe Jeff Jarrett just uses this way of like, hey, like my family's been in the business for years. Like give me on the pay per view every time, even though
it's like Chris Jericho now. Like he kind of has to be on the pay per view. He's like, I gotta be on the pay per view somehow. Give me on that pay per view.
the show. Yeah, I don't know. I thought the finish was weird because he missed it. He missed a splash after he's trying to counter I guess sunset flip, but then he got pinned from it. Like that was that made it big, and he got right back up. I'm like, well, how come you can kick out then? If you got right back, you got right back up immediately. How come you didn't kick out?
Yeah, I know.
that was weird. And I believe. I mean, JP probably look it up, but I think it was around the time Mo was injured, and I believe I believe Oscar left because they turned heel and he didn't want to turn heel with them.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure JP can look what exactly happened to the Men on a Mission or like when that ended. But I don't seem to recall like how it kind of came to an end because I know Mabel would continue on as a solo act, right? Because he became King of the Ring in '96. He was King Mabel. So 95. I mean, he obviously or '95, but he would do his own thing for a little while. But I don't know when the last of the Men on the Mission thing was, but I'm sure he could look that up for us. I'll kind of recap just one other thing while you're pulling that up, JPO. Because we got another appearance of Leslie Nielsen and George Kennedy. They kind of stumble out to the entranceway. I don't know why they're on the entranceway looking for the Undertaker. It's like he's not coming out it's not time for the match yet, so I don't know what you're looking in the middle of the rampway for. It's just weird. They're just kind of looking around and then that's just kind of it. They just like look around, they wave to the crowd, and they walk away. And I don't know why you're looking for them out of the ring. That's kind of the last place they would be, but they just disappear. So again, just a little strange. And then we get a pretty lengthy Brett and Owen video, kind of recapping sort of their feud. And again, it was a good video because it really did hit a lot of the promos. They showed highlights of WrestleMania, some other stuff where they were trying to tag together and get along, and they just couldn't get along. And then a lot of the TV appearances where they were kind of cutting promos back and forth, and this whole feud of Owen being jealous of Brett, but always kind of being the chosen heart, and the Hart family always kind of rallying around him, and Owen feeling like kind of the outsider here, and that's kind of the really big set for the match. So we set that up. But I was going to give JPO a chance if you had anything before I got into this lengthy cage match.
Let's talk a little Mabel / Viscera here. He debuted the year prior in 1993. Mo would be with him pretty much till the end. Later on, even after winning King of the Ring, he's still there now as Sir Mo, sometimes as a manager, but also still as a tag team partner here. They have matches up until October of 95, and then he's gone by November 95 is the first time. Oh, no, that's not true. I see. He was just doing stuff in Puerto Rico. Hold on. It's close after that. Okay, hold on. So, he does the Rumble in 96, and that looks like the end of Mabel's first run. Oh, so that's kind of interesting. I didn't even realize that. So when him and Vader get dumped together, if you remember, Shawn Michaels does the dumping of the two big guys, or is it Yoko and Vader? Regardless, Mabel's last appearance would be Rumble of 96, but about 3 months before that, though, Mo was still around. So, and you are right. It looks like he's injured at this point here, but still be with the company for a little while longer here. They would even re-team over in USWA. So Mo was still around for a little bit here. Mabel would return only about 4 years later in 2000. Another 4-year run. He'd be popping on and off until Big V for another few years. We would lose him, of course, in 2014. So it's been a while since we've had Big Daddy V in our lives.
Yeah, for sure. But yes. Oh, go ahead, Rich. What?
No, literally. So we're up to. I was just when you're probably going to get to that. So we had the lengthy, obviously the lengthy clip, but then right before the match, Vince goes to interview Stu Hart and
oh god, yes, Stu and his wife,
and what's the mom's name? She was all right, but she's a bit. Helen, she was all right, but she was a bit dead. But Stu was out to lunch. He's like, they're gonna have a match in the wrestler will win, and that's not. I think the question was like, how do you feel about like the
Your
Brett
two
Owens?
sons, yeah, going at each other, and he's just like he seems like he could care less. Like he's just like, fire, a little fire.
Yeah,
It's
they're
just
not.
like,
He's not reacting the way they want him to, and like, even when Joe the King Lawler's trying to get Joe the King Lawler's trying to get trying to rile them up too. But like Helen's laughing. It's like, dude,
yeah, Jerry comes in and he tries to be like, well, isn't it the real truth that you guys shunned Owen all his life and you always preferred Brad, and yada yada yada, Owen was always the outsider, and yeah, Helen's just laughing at it. Stu doesn't care; he's just sitting there stone faced. They're doing their best to kind of get a reaction, but they kind of get nothing out of him. Yeah, it was kind of an awkward segment.
awkward.
But yeah, it was definitely to give them a chance because they both cut kind of promos before the match. So, but yeah, we get them out here, and yeah, we've got for the WWF title. It's not the main event, as you might think, your title match here, but no, it's your semi-main event. As these two are going to lock up in a steel cage, and should note that there is no referee in the ring. The only way to win is to escape the cage in this particular cage match. So no pinfalls, no submissions. You can only win via escape over the top or through the door. Yeah, for the title here. And this is a pretty lengthy match, so strap in. Got a lot to talk about here, and it's going to sound like I'm repeating myself a lot, but it's because they kind of repeat themselves a lot. So we'll talk about it. Yeah, so Owen jumps on Brett pretty much as soon as he gets inside the door. He's kind of fighting him in the corner a little bit, some stomps, some headbutts. Owen tries to throw Brett headfirst into the cage, but Brett counters with a DDT. Brett goes to climb up, but Owen stops him, and then eventually hits an enziguri inside the ring. He goes to climb the cage, but Brett pulls his leg out and kind of pulls it back down to the mat. And then Brett eventually, as they climb up again, hits a big back suplex off the cage. Brett tries to crawl in through the door, but Owen cuts him off. Take note of that because it happens like 30 times in this match where each guy is crawling for the door and gets cut off. Again, we'll talk about this. It might be a little bit overhyped, but we'll talk about it. But yeah, Brett eventually hits a bulldog inside the ring. They go to crawl to the door. They both kind of crawl. I literally just wrote they back and forth, just kind of each try to escape out the door. Brett goes to climb up again, but Owen tosses him off there to the mat. Owen goes to climb, but Brett grabs his hair, and they kind of have a standoff on the turnbuckle. Brett eventually falls, and Owen does hit a huge, really good looking missile drop kick to Brett. He always had a really good kind of flat back bump missile drop kick, looked really good.
Yeah.
Owen goes to climb, but Brett grabs his tights, and they both fall into the ring. Again, it sounds like I'm repeating myself, but it's because they did this spot about 10 times where they kind of stop each other with their hair and their tights and each kind of fall to the mat. Happens a lot in this match. But back in the ring, they both kind of go for running clotheslines and have kind of a collision there. Owen crawls to the door, but Brett stops him by dropping some elbows. Owen yanks Brett and Brett straddles the ropes groin first. That looked like it really hurt because he landed pretty damn hard on those ropes. I wrote ow. That hurt. Owen tries to go for the door again, but Brett stops him with a low blow. Brett misses a top rope elbow, and that allows Owen to kind of climb up again. Once again, Brett grabs the hair in his head, pulls it back in, hits a big power slam. Brett climbs. Owen hits a Samoan drop. You can see the pattern here. Each guy kind of climbing, then hitting a move, climbing, then hitting the move. It's kind of a lot going on here. Brett finally slams Owen's head into the cage to kind of pick things up a little bit. But again, there's another back suplex off the cage. In the middle of the ring, Owen hits a pile driver to put Brett down. And then as he climbs, he gets straddled himself on the ropes as Brett cuts him off. Brett, again, tries to crawl out the door, but they kind of break down into sort of a rolling, almost like a cat fight. They're just kind of rolling around and ground and pounding, kind of cat fighting each other a little bit. But eventually, Owen slingshots Brett headfirst into the cage, so he gets a little taste of the cage there. And then Owen leaps. Brett's about to go out the door, but Owen kind of does a big leap almost all the way across the ring and kind of grabs him to prevent him from sliding out. And then Brett tries to go into the cage, but Owen tries to put Brett into the cage, and then Brett counters and puts Owen head first into the cage as well. Again, this is a long match, so I'm not even. I got another half page to go. This match is 32 minutes. It's a long match, but Brett goes to climb again. Owen pulls him off and hits a big spinning heel kick. Both again go to climb.
Great looking spinning heel kick, by the way.
Always had a good spinning wheel kick. I'll give Owen that. Again, everything that they do looks great. It's just kind of gets a little repetitive. We'll talk about it, but they're both on the cage. Brett kicks him off and goes to climb again. Again, Owen climbs again. Brett also climbs again. But eventually Brett does hit a big superplex as Owen's kind of almost outside the cage, pulls him back in, and then hits a big superplex. That was a great looking spot, a great looking superplex, and really got the crowd going. Again, they both go to crawl to the door, kind of recovering from that. But Owen pulls him into a sharpshooter and tries to put him in a sharpshooter in the middle of the ring. But Brett counters as he trips him up and then hooks him into the sharpshooter, from the ground and kind of pulls him up into it. And then once again, Brett uses the opportunity to try to once again climb out. But once again, Owen grabs his hair and they both fall to the mat. They both go climb up again outside the cage. Owen goes, this kind of comes to the finish. They're both kind of crawling up. They both get over the cage and are kind of hanging off the side. But eventually Brett slams Owen's head into the thing and his leg gets caught up in the cage. So he's hanging upside down and can't get loose as Brett drops down to the outside of the ring. And he gets the win as he gets to the ground first. And then afterwards, I will give credit. The crowd's into the match overall. Like, they're into everything, and they're into this. There's a lot of stuff going on afterwards as Jim the Anvil Neidhart is ringside, Davey Boy's ringside, all the Hart brothers. There's a million Hart family members in the outside. Anvil and Owen go inside and continue to attack Brett as all these other guys are trying to climb the cage. Davey's trying to climb the cage. All the Hart brothers are trying to climb the cage. They're kind of running interference, trying to keep the beat down on Brett while knocking all of them off. But eventually Davey Boy gets in, so Owen and Anvil finally kind of flee after that, and they protect Brett from there. So this is an interesting one because I saw some reviews where people were giving this like 5 stars. They were kind of going crazy for it. I can understand at the time. It is good storytelling as far as I like the fact that the object was to escape the cage, and each of these guys take every opportunity to try to escape. Like they're literally trying every time they get an advantage to get out and to escape. And all the moves that they did looked good. I just thought, like, after 32 minutes, I was kind of over it. Like, because literally, I swear I saw about 19 times where like one guy gets to the top, gets over, and the other guy like grabs his hair, pulls him back in, and they just like fall to the mat. I swear I saw that spot like 9 times in this match. I just think they cut this match down about 10, 12 minutes, kept it to about 20, maybe cut a few of the middle spots there and just hit the bigger stuff. I think it would have been a better match. I appreciate the storytelling. The psychology is good. And everything they do looks good. I just felt this was way too long. And just kind of, by the end, me and my girl were watching, and we're like, Jesus Christ, like, would somebody just freaking escape the cage already? I'm kind of just ready for this match to be over because it just kind of goes on and on and on. So I appreciate the efforts. It is a solid cage match, but I wish it could go a little shorter. But am I off base, Richie? I mean, if you guys like this, please let me know, or like it more than I did.
No. I think it's a good match, but I think it's slightly overrated. Like, it's good storytelling. I didn't like how like they almost immediately tried to climb out. I'm like, kind of like wrestle each other a bit first. Just I don't know. It felt like what I'd do in, like, if I'm playing the video game, if it's with a friend, that just immediately just try to be a smartass and try to climb at the cage straight away. But like, so I would have liked to see more. Trying to wear them down in wrestling moves wise, but I understand you can use the cage. But other than that, it was just like, there was just a rinse and repeat a lot. But when they did actually the moves and then varied it up, it was good. But I found myself checking out after a while. I'm like, okay, I'm ready for the finish now. And so actually. Probably by the finish, I missed it because I was like checking. I'm like, oh shit, all right, go, and then I rewind.
Well, there have been so many teases for the finish. By the time they actually get there, I'm like, oh, hey, they're both outside the cage, and the one's about to fall. Okay, they're finally there. Excellent. Because I swear there's at least a dozen times where one guy goes to get up there, and the other guy just cuts him off by grabbing his tights or grabbing his hair, pulls him back in, and they both fall. I swear they did that like 10 times. I cut out some of those, just hit the big moves, maybe do that once or twice. I feel like they both crawled to the door about 6 or 7 times. It was kind of over that spot by the end. It just felt a little repetitive, a little bit.
And then the other note I got is that British Bulldog looked massive. He is fucking huge.
It's huge, and he's got long hair, and like he's gigantic. Yeah, he
He
is.
had long hair, glasses. He looked like a buff librarian.
And he hit the tanning machine really hard too, because he is tan as shit at ringside as well. He had just gone out of the damn tanning booth. Yeah, he is massive. He is huge. But JPO, did you see this, or do you remember this match at all? And any thoughts, about that?
I definitely this is a match from the show that I would remember. I remember, by the way, just in a weird way, like renting this VHS.
Yeah.
I didn't own it. I remember having to rent this one back in the day because I definitely remember Leslie Nielsen and Taker we're about to talk about. No, I remember liking it. I am watching it in the background right now, and they're 5 minutes in, and they've already like stopped each other 3 times, and so I can see what you guys are saying. Maybe a little too much here. Good storytelling, but maybe not the most oomph in it here. This is their first huge televised match besides their Mania one. They were tied to the hip though on house shows. Another one where these two fought on house shows all the time, including Iron Man matches. That's kind of the match I'd like to see. Maybe you want to find one of those Iron Man matches. They had several of those on house shows here. They'd have a couple more random TV matches at the Kuwait Cup, which I remember having on VHS. A couple of random Raw matches here, and then one final match in '97 in Dutchland. This is also Owens' SummerSlam debut, so not a bad SummerSlam debut for Owen here. They've had several more SummerSlams after this. Owens' last SummerSlam to be that weird but kind of interesting Lions Den match with Ken Shamrock. And can anyone remember Brett's last SummerSlam?
Was it in 2010?
You ruined my joke. I thought we'd forget it. I think now it was the 2010 SummerSlam where he was part of Team WWE against Nexus. So the last one before that, you have to go back to '97, where he fought, I think, Taker.
Question for both of you guys: is this the closest I think Owen comes to being champion, or them pulling the trigger on Owen as heavyweight champion? I feel like this is the closest he kind of got, and he never quite got this high again.
I can double check that real quick here. So
I think so, because after his program, he sort of then obviously a couple of years after that, obviously the Montreal thing happened. So and then he sort of then he gets.
I just feel like he goes back to like tag team champion kind of stuff. Yeah.
So this is let's see here. So this is his first televised pay-per-view anyway. I didn't check TV, but this is his first pay-per-view match. He'd have one more. Him and Shawn Michaels did fight at Rage in the Cage in February of '96. So a month before him and Bret fought, he fought Owen. Is it the main event? Let's see. No, wait. Oh, it was the number one contenders match. Oh, that wasn't even for the world title. Sorry, I saw world title and said that.
There is a photo out there of Owen holding the title, because I believe at a house show they did a spot where he might have got a pinfall based on something, but they're like, hey, no, reverse it, because they
reverse the decision, for something.
I would say this is the closest. Yeah, this is his one and only pay-per-view match. There's some stuff on house shows. There's even stuff on Raw. He does fight Shawn for the title in December of '97 on a Monday Night Raw. But yeah, I would say this is his closest. This is his only time on pay-per-view fighting for the title.
I kind of feel like Owen could have won this match and become champion. I think the crowd would have bought it. I think he was so close. Yeah. He was so close here. I feel like the King of Hearts thing was working because he was the king of the ring.
He's a more interesting character, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he is, and I feel like he's over. The crowd has totally bought into the storyline. Again, the crowd for this match. Again, I'm not taking away the match as far as the crowd's into it. The crowd's into the big spots, into the stuff afterwards. With the family, they're into it. They're going nuts for it. Obviously, we'll talk about how that factors into the actual main event. This should have been the main event because the crowd was super into it. I feel like if Owen won here, crowd would have been fine with it. You know what I mean? As far as they would have booed or whatever, but I feel like they would have bought him as champion. And I think he could have at least had a brief run, even if it's just for a little while here. Richie, what do you think? I think he could, or both you guys. I mean, sorry, go, I just want to get both of your opinions on that.
Yeah, I think you I think you got to strike while the iron's hot here, and I think they probably. I don't really. I think you do put it on Owen and see where it goes. Like you put it, Brett's always reliable. You can put it back on him later, but just give Owen a run, see where he runs with it. And he could have become like a bigger star. It's because he's over. I think it would be establish him more, given that it would mean that he beat him twice, as opposed to just like getting,
Right.
yeah. So I would have put the title on him. Yeah.
Yeah, JPO, would you put the title on him here maybe and
Yeah.
give it a shot?
I'm a big Owen guy, so even if it's just for a couple months, or don't forget too, we're not only a few months away from the next big pay-per-view in November, which is right before that. It's Diesel getting the title off Bob Backlund real quick. So let him be the one to job to Diesel if you want. You know what I mean? Why not? Give him 3-4 months, see what he does with it. Because I think he's over. I think he's an interesting character here. I think there's some good juicy storytelling that's going on to the match. So I would have been down for it. Try something new. This is also too the year of his King of the Ring too. So he's coming off of a hot King of the Ring victories.
Yeah, I think it could have worked, and he's one of those guys. We talk about those guys who were just never quite got that title run. Him and Razor, we just talked about Razor. Those guys who never you feel like could have, but were hot enough that they could have been world champion at least even for a little bit, and just never quite got there.
Like you said too, sadly, like this is the closest he ever got. He's there for another 4 years. You know what I mean? But he's there. He's fighting. I think it's SummerSlam. Is he there in '98 or at least '97? He's there with Stone Cold and whatnot. Oh yeah, '98. I said it was Ken Shamrock. So he's there another 4 years. So
yeah. Like he gets pulled back down to the mid card and he turns baby face. So he like feuds Triple H for a bit.
It's more IC. It's more tag. It's Hard Foundation again. It's Nation. Yeah.
Yeah, just it's unfortunate because he's really over here and it's good, and as we'll talk about, that should have been the main event. Crowd was into it. It was a hot storyline. Crowd was there. It was the world title cage match. Like, what are we doing here? But
it's the Rock Austin of SummerSlam '94.
This is even worse, though. This is even worse.
Rock Hogan, not Rock Austin.
At least that they went with the world title, which I get why on paper they did what they did. This is way worse. This is saying no to the world title for a stupid gimmicky bullshit.
A terrible gimmicky because Vince, loves his fake gimmicky shit and his fake people and imposters. And we'll talk about it. I had to skip ahead a little bit. I skipped I guess there was a Heartbreak Hotel thing. I skipped it. I'm sorry. I just didn't watch it. I didn't have time. I had to watch this match pretty quickly.
But in the build-up, there was a funny thing where they're asking people that people are spotting the Undertaker, and there's those people in a bakery said, "Oh yeah, I saw the Undertaker." And I just love the image of Undertaker in full regalia just ordering pastries.
I like a dozen donuts, please. Give me a dozen donuts. Yeah. But I mean, we get this. So they each get separate entrances here, kind of Undertaker style entrances. With Paul Bearer's bringing out caskets, and there's a giant urn, a bigger urn than usual, like a massive urn. So Ted DiBiase once again makes an appearance. He's with the fake Undertaker, and of course Paul Bearer's with the real Undertaker. But again, it's annoying because we'll talk about it. But on commentary, they're acting like they're confused as to who's the real Undertaker, even though it's very fucking obvious who the real Undertaker is. It's not like it's his first. It's not like it's his first appearance, JPO. I mean, he's been in the company for 4 years now. You know who the real Undertaker is. This is stupid.
Even if you are confused, let's say I am a commentator. I have to sound confused.
Right.
Put him in the same outfit then.
Same gear.
With Paul Bearer is obviously with the real one. There were different colors. So fine. You're on many levels.
Well, he could, like we said, one of the funny commentary lines is Vince contradicting himself because he was like, one of the first things Vince says is it's like looking into a mirror, and then King goes, they're identical, and then immediately Vince goes, they're not identical. I'm like, you just said they were, basically.
He can't decide whether he wants to go with the identical thing or that one is obviously not, the real Taker. Because then even halfway through the match, he's like, the real Undertaker, taking it to this fake guy, like it's weird. So they kind of dropped that almost immediately. But yeah, so we should note your fake Undertaker here, JPO Brian Lee, who would go on to be jumping to ECW, I think, pretty shortly after this, right? Like, I mean, I'm sure you fill me in on Brian Lee afterwards. Maybe take note as to what Brian Lee was up to after this. But yeah, he's wearing, like I said, he's wearing like gray gloves. Real Undertaker's wearing purple gloves. Brian Lee is a couple inches shorter than Taker. He physically just looks different. I mean, he's a taller guy, but like facially looks completely different. It's just it's very obvious who the fake one is. So it's very silly. But yeah, so we get into this match. It's not a very long match. I'll get to this pretty quickly. And the crowd is, I should note, dead fucking silent for this match. And Vince tries to sell it as like, oh my god, they don't know what to do. There's two Undertakers out here. They're in awe. They're just stunned at what they're seeing. And it's just like, no, the match is just boring, and they don't care.
I don't even know why you draw attention to it. Just fucking.
And plus, they just saw a really hot angle and a hot match with Brett and Owen. Of course, they're fucking dead, and they're probably just as baffled as we are as to why that match wasn't the main event. They still have another match to go. They're ready to go. They're ready to go home now. But yes, we get in the ring. There's some leapfrogs, some Irish whips, a couple of shoulder blocks. Guys going kind of back and forth. Taker eventually, they're kind of brawling around apron. He pulls him over with a suplex into the ring. I'm going to call him Taker and Faker just to make it distinguish. Faker and Taker. So Taker throws Faker over the ropes. They kind of brawl at ringside a little bit. And then get back in the ring. Taker chokes Faker on the turnbuckle and then throws him to the mat kind of off the turnbuckle. Faker is kind of no-selling a lot, or like he would take a move but kind of pop back up, or just kind of no-sell punches and whatnot, trying to be kind of like Undertaker a little bit. Eventually, Taker hits the old school off the ropes and puts him down. Kind of hits his corner, kind of strikes and chops. But Faker eventually kind of ducks a running clothesline and once again does the pull down. He pulls the ropes down and Taker goes over the top rope once again, about a spot I've seen about 9 times tonight. And again, I wrote on the side, Vince is openly acknowledging how silent the crowd is for this match. He's 23 completely silent for this damn match. But yes, Faker on the outside kind of slams Taker's head into the stairs and then brings it back in, and he starts his own kind of corner punches and strikes. Faker eventually hits a big choke slam, but he doesn't go for a cover. And then Faker picks up Real Undertaker and hits a tombstone, but does not cover the Undertaker, does not try to get the win. But Paul Bearer whips out that big giant urn and kind of wills the Real Undertaker back to his feet. Faker goes for another tombstone, but Taker does kind of the back bridge into the counter and hits his own tombstone. And then he hits a second tombstone. He waits for Faker to kind of sit up, but he doesn't sit up. So he just picks him back up, hits a third tombstone, and Earl Hebner does the fucking longest 3 count I've ever seen in my life. 1, 2, 3. And I was like, Jesus Christ, Earl. It was a 10 count, 3 count. But he gets the 3 count, and eventually post-match, Faker gets put into the casket, and we never see him ever again, as the storyline goes there. And then again, for the last thing we see on the show, Leslie Nielsen and George Kennedy are backstage still looking for the Undertaker. Motherfucker, he was just out on the goddamn ring. Why are you in the back still looking when they're in the fucking ring doing the match? I'm sorry.
I guess their gimmick is that they're morons.
Yeah, but are you really that stupid? Like, even the characters in the movie are that stupid. Like, they're in the ring doing the fucking match. I'm sorry to drop a bunch of F-bombs in a row, but it was really stupid. And then they do a joke where they see a closed briefcase and they say, "Case closed. Waka waka." Get it? Uh-huh. Yeah. So, and that's the last thing we see. So, Richie, we'll go to JPO. We'll go to you in a minute for your facts. I guess we all know about Undertaker. There's no mystery about Undertaker, but maybe hit us with some Brian Lee fake Undertaker facts. But Richie, what did you think of this very anticlimactic main event, to say the least?
Yeah, it's just anticlimactic and just a waste of Undertaker, who's supposed even then earlier on in his career treated as a special sort of attraction kind of dude, and it's like, okay, you want to, all right, this is how you're going to use him, and you think, okay, given that Vince openly acknowledges that the crowd is dead, you think, okay, you'd learn from history. No, they do, fake, like you said, fake Diesel, fake Razor Ramon, fake Kane, I mean, not quite at the level, but there was that fake Sin Cara thing that didn't work. That was stupid. Yeah. So yeah, I don't. Yeah, like it's dumb because
Well,
it's
it doesn't work in WCW either. The fake Sting stuff that we just talked about not long ago. Yeah, fake Sting doesn't work. Fake stuff doesn't work. Just stop doing it. It's dumb. Crowd doesn't buy it, and it's
sadly, I think fake Stings work the best out of everything we've mentioned so far.
Maybe, but not when it's
the initial. Like, I like the fact that it was the initial thing of like, wow, Lex, you thought that was me. I thought you knew me better. Like, I like that idea. That's about the best that I can think of.
Well, but not when it's 7 foot
gallows.
But not when it's 7 foot fake Sting that obviously is not 6
No,
feet.
everything else was shitty. I like the one note of Sting being like hurt that like my best friend didn't even believe in me.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I think that's interesting.
Sure.
Yeah, the whole fake thing. Yeah, it doesn't work. I think it's all, and like no one's had the time to even like really care about Brian Lee because he didn't like before this he was in the DOA. Was it the Disciples? After this. So yeah.
I'll give you all the Brian Lee faction.
Come on, JPL will fill us in on Brian Lee's career. Come on,
the point is, no one really, established that they really to care about Brian Lee or even the spectator because and then I feel like the finish of the match wasn't in any doubt. Like they're not going to have the fake Undertaker go over. So I don't know. It's silly all around, and yeah. I'm sure we'll still get fake gimmicks here and there. They're not even, I mean, I know it's Vince's thing, but I'm sure other companies will do it. There's a indie person that had to change his name recently. But, have you heard of Blue Cane?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think he changed his name to something, but yeah, he's still.
I want to say Blue Cane.
Yeah. Blue Pain now, but yeah. So, I don't know. I guess that's kind of fun, but yeah. So, the wrong main event.
No, definitely wrong main event. JPO, hit me with some Brian Lee facts. Come on.
Good old Brian Lee at this point is already a 6-year veteran. He debuts in 1988. Spent some good amount of time in Smoky Mountain Wrestling is where they would find him. He starts popping up on TV in May. They give him little matches here and there on Superstars and Raw to kind of set up like, oh, maybe there's a new Taker and whatnot. And then finally he would have this match and then sent right back to Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Faker would never be seen again. He does debut for ECW finally in April of 96. And it was about to be a trend for about 1 year. He's gone by April of 97. In June of 97, he debuts as Chains, or re-debuts if you want to say, of course, as DOA again, but 1 year. June 97, he's gone by June of 98. They moved on. He does get a SummerSlam redemption, though. He loses to Los Boricuas, DOA in 97. That's 97 SummerSlam. It's not the last Brian Lee SummerSlam appearance here. His other big TV spots would be in TNA in all places. He popped up in year one in 2002, briefly winning the tag titles, the NWA tag titles at the time with Slash. Again, lasted about a year. So, the third time.
If you need a guy to come in for about a year and do some stuff, and then leave.
DOA and TNA. But he looks like he's been retired now for the last 10 years. Hasn't had a match since 2014.
Okay. Well, there you go. And Undertaker, I don't know what happened to that Undertaker guy.
I think he does like a podcast. He won't shut the fuck up now.
Yeah, he just talks all the time now. He talks a lot for a dead guy. I don't know what he's doing.
I was gonna say before when we're talking about Mabel. I saw him recently say, like, you know why I put Mabel in the ministry, right? So I wouldn't have to wrestle him anymore.
Yeah, big man matches with Mabel. It's true.
Well, Mabel's the one that made him wear that mask and fucked up his nose.
Yeah, because he gave him a leg drop.
Yeah.
So later on, we're like, who do you want in the ministry? He's like, I want Midian. He's my buddy. He's not doing anything. I want Bradshaw. He's my buddy. He's not doing anything. Give me Mabel. That way you won't make me fight him anymore.
I believe he injured Diesel on the time too, which is probably what caused his push to end. Because he injured two.
Yeah, I mean, they keep trying. They give up in 96. They try again in 99, 2000. They give up again. They try again in 04. So they tried about 3 different times with him.
Well, he didn't he have to wrestle him again though? Remember the the main event, like you said, 04, wasn't it like Taker versus
It was Gangrel and
Gangrel and Viscera?
Oh
Remember
yeah,
the
that was
handicap
his
match?
first. That was his first. Or no, wait,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was his third return.
Right. Yeah, no, I remember that, and that was like, kind of an infamously not great. But it was funny. They brought Viscera back after that one, but I was like, Gangrel looked better. Why did you not resign?
into wrestling now.
yeah. Like
Everyone
Gangrel
was
would have been
like,
the better
Gangrel was gonna
resign.
get re-signed. I feel like did Gangrel get re-signed, but it only did like indie, or it only did like Deep South, or no, maybe not even that actually.
I don't know.
I might be thinking of Henry
know.
Johnson again.
No, but I feel like re-sign Gangrel. That dude can still work, and he still looked great. Like I got excited for a minute. I remember around that time, and I was like, oh man, re-sign.
No, a lot of people thought like, oh, this might be their way back in, but like, it was only ended up being Viscera's way back in.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. That is a SummerSlam 1994. So yeah, I mean, we'll kind of get to our overall thoughts. Again, a very watchable show, I thought. Like I wasn't, bored really with the show other than like kind of the main event. At least there was a lot of like, decent storylines going on, a few decent matches. I mean, the Bret Owen thing I think is a tad overrated as well. But again, for 1994 for a cage match, it's pretty good. Like it's still good storytelling, like two good workers, crowds into the post match, like the angle and stuff. So, it's not horrible. You could do way worse. But yeah, as far as like out of a 10, this is kind of like that sort of 6 out of 10 territory, maybe in like 5.5. Like I think it's a little overhyped. But again, nothing like absolutely atrocious on the show, other than maybe the main event, oddly enough, might be like the worst match. Because even Jeff Jarrett and Mabel, it's like it would have been like an okay TV match, like it would have been whatever. Lex Luger Tatanka is not terribly exciting, only because I think the crowd doesn't know like what to do with it, until the post match. But the opener was fun enough. Diesel and Razor was a decent match, especially for a Diesel match. And Bret Owen is still good. Like I'm not saying it's like a bad match or anything like that. So overall, it's a watchable show. What do you think, Richie?
Yeah, I was thinking around. Probably 5 or 6. I'll go 6. I think it's a good show, not a great show, but there's enough on it to enjoy. And the Bret Owen thing is still probably the best match on the show. Just maybe it's a tad overhyped, just given that it's very repetitive, and they probably try to escape to.
And Bull and Alundra is a good women's match, especially for
Bull
1994.
Bull and Alundra is also a good match. So the opening match, Bull and Alundra, and the cage match probably the best. The best matches here. But the cage match is still probably the best match. But just overly long and a bit repetitive. But still, it's still a good show. But I wouldn't. I don't know if people rate. I don't know how highly people rate the SummerSlam, but I don't know. I think it's just mid tier for me.
Yeah, for sure. JP, I know you kind of had it off and on, but any final thoughts about SummerSlam 94 before we kind of wrap it up, or anything in general, about that show?
I can't believe Faker wasn't brought back. Mabel should have been invented. No, I think fun with stuff like I said, I've watched it kind of on and off a little bit. I think it's a fun little blast in the past to kind of see where things were, see random mid card matches. I know I totally forgot about Jeff Jarrett and Mabel and whatnot. A good scene, a good Razor Diesel match to make a Diesel move, which is cool. Overall from what I saw, it was still fun kind of give it a little quick revisit.
Yeah, no, still a nice blast from the past. And again, you could do way worse shows than this. Like, it's still a totally watchable show. Enough entertaining stuff. Yeah, as bad as the Leslie Nielsen, George Kennedy stuff was, overall, it was still like, I was like, oh yeah, this is the show where they're running around the whole thing. I was still like, at least it's nice to know that Leslie Nielsen was like a wrestling fan. Like, I think he was legit like a wrestling fan, so that's still cool. For what it is. That they were willing to do a spot like this. So that's all right. But yeah, so that's it. So that is SummerSlam 1994, and we'll be talking about current news, SummerSlam as early as next week, obviously, because it's coming up August 3rd, just a little over a week from now. Saturday night, we'll be doing those predictions next week. So JPO, sure, we'll have those graphics nice and ready. The WWE is always pretty good about those graphics, making them.
I love WWE. I don't got to hunt. It's
You don't have to
literally
hide right there. Whoop, whoop, boom. Yeah, ready to go. So yeah, we'll make all of our predictions next week as the card is pretty much locked down, as we said. I don't think they're going to add. They might add maybe a pre-show match or one other thing. We'll see over the next week. We'll see if they do add anything. But yeah, we're going to do that. And I believe Jacob wanted. He had something in the can. I believe he wanted to do a draft next week. So we'll be doing predictions. And speaking of we talked a lot about the Intercontinental title tonight. He wanted to do an Intercontinental draft. So what we'll be doing is, I believe, we'll be drafting. Doing our usual 20. I believe there's 89 to choose from, is what he said when he laid it out as far as how many overall champions there are to choose from. So there's a set pool, obviously. Anybody who ever held the IC belts, including tonight, obviously Diesel and Razor both holding that IC title. So you certainly up for grabs with those guys. Owen Hart we talked about. Certainly will be a high pick. But yeah, we'll be drafting IC champions for the entire run. Anybody who ever held it is up for grabs. So we'll be drafting a little IC title roster as well. So that'll be next week when Jacob rejoins us. And yeah, everything's SummerSlam. We're talking SummerSlam.
Peacock just slid right into the very next SummerSlam. Our boy Mabel's main eventing.
Against two.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's the Diesel.
Is that the Mabel and Diesel? Is that where he hurts him? Is that it?
Speaking of matches that should be flip flop, guess what precedes that? Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, WrestleMania ladder match rematch, which is great.
Yeah, that should be the main event. Yeah, what's the deal with the SummerSlams back then not doing the correct main event?
I mean, this one was really weird. This one, that's when I guess I kind of get 95 because they're simply doing the world title finally. But no, if you go by quality, no.
Yeah, probably should be HBK and Razor, yes. But yeah, we'll kind of wrap it up there. That was fun, kind of taking a little blast from the past there with SummerSlam 94. And we'll talk all things SummerSlam 2024 next week as we make our predictions and do that IC draft. So that should be a lot of fun.
Dibs.
That's right. Hey, the Mountie won it on a house show, so he's eligible. So maybe I'll draft the Mountie. He held it for like a day, but he held it. The Mountie. That's right. Oh boy, what'd you get in the mail this week?
The Mountie.
There you go.
Subscribe to the Pro Wrestling. Right?
Oh, is that the one of those boxes, like the Pro Wrestling boxes?
Yeah, it just came. And for a DVD of a show that I'm at, so I'm gonna watch that later.
What is that?
Just a random Ring of Honor DVD they threw in.
Oh, okay.
What T-shirt did you get?
So we got here's an unboxing live on Lonely.
Unboxing. Hold on, JB. Let me put you on full screen so we can see these T-shirts. There you go. All right, what you got?
Yeah. So I guess I had to look it up on the cheat sheet. It's a "You Sick Fuck" shirt, but the fuck is censored. So it's
Moxley shirt. Moxley shirt. Okay, that's cool. It's a cool shirt though.
Black shirt, not bad. And I actually like this one even more, just because it's our boy. It's my boy. Good old. It's a little brown too. It's actually brown. Mick Foley shirt.
Oh, nice shirt. Nice.
That's a cool shirt. Have a nice day. And they do bi-monthly now. So the DVD, Edge Pin, Rated R Superstar.
Gotcha. Okay.
Not one Mountie, but two Ricky Starks micro brawlers.
You didn't get the chase? Damn.
No, I did once. I've won so far in like all my 2 years doing it.
Yeah.
Claudio Castagnoli comic book.
Oh,
Really lovely illustrated comic book. Yeah, look at some of that artwork.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good art. There you go. Nice.
That's cool. And then let's see. I actually forgot. I think Dana Brooke. I want to say Dana Brooke autograph.
I see.
Which is Dana Brooke. Not Ash by the way.
And
Penta.
Okay. Hey, nice.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, it's well worth the price if any of that seemed interesting to you. I pay a couple bucks more for the shirts, but it's 30, 40 something. So,
yeah, my only issue, the reason I cancelled is because I got myself way too many shirts and I had no room for everything.
Oh my god, when I moved, my first big move 3 years ago, oh my god, you could name a wrestler. And I literally think you could name a wrestler. I'm talking I had Tatanka to I had everybody.
And everybody on this card tonight, something.
I probably listen. I have a Mabel. I might have. I mean, Jesus, oh my God, Papa Shango, all sorts of fun weird.
Jeff
stuff.
Jarrett, Bam Bam, Diesel,
Bam Bam.
Diesel, Razor.
Definitely had some Diesel and Ashes for sure.
Owen and Brad are card shirts. Yeah.
They give all these random ones. I love the random ones too. So.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, let's. There you go. We got an extra live unboxing just for you
Yeah.
for your
This
Wrestling
is my
Box.
first one in a long time too. I paused it for the longest time.
Gotcha. Well, that's cool. But yeah, we'll wrap things up there, and let's
Use
wrap things
promo
up.
code Lonely Marks. If it doesn't work, keep entering. Sooner or later, it'll work.
Eventually.
Like Lonely Marks 10 or something. Just keep adding numbers to the
Yeah.
end of it. Maybe it'll work eventually. But yeah, we'll wrap things up here. Let's get to some plugs real quick, and we'll say goodnight for the evening. So yeah, JPO. Besides finding you unboxing and playing with your Mountie figures, where else can we find you?
Hell yeah. I used to have the nice Jack specific one too. I don't think I have that anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I had met the Mountie. He was very nice.
Yes.
And he was in his full on gear too. It wasn't
Nice.
just Jacques Rougeau hanging out. He was legitimately in that gear that you would think of the Mountie in.
Mhm.
But anyway, find me over at when I'm not here on this channel every Thursday. Find me over at the Pierce Co. Lots of movie stuff. We're doing some movie trivia, which is did clips recently. That was a fun one. Top 10s, all sorts of things like that. And then over at Pierce Wrestling, we're going to be getting another tournament here. The tag team tournament will begin soon. Me and Pez are teaming up. Rich, are you in that?
Yeah,
Steve, right?
I'm a Steve.
Yeah, there you go. So
the
yeah,
media.
we might end up having a fight. We'll see. I haven't done the drawings yet. I got to get a couple more teams, but we'll see. It's possible. And then other places too. I believe I'm managing on Multiplex. Well, we're taping. I'm going to manage. I like managing people because it's just me getting to be silly and no stress if I win or lose. Although I obviously wish my clients would win.
Yes.
If they don't, I'm way less stressed. Why We Love Horror. I think me and my new tag partner there, Shay, are about to debut over in Why We Love Horror because Steve is no longer allowed. I hope he's not watching now. Movie Battleground will begin soon. We're doing some testings for Movie Battleground, so debates will be coming back soon as well.
Yeah, no, I'm doing a testing demo match as well against Jeremy Potter. So just a quick little 3-match sort of exhibition. So I'll be doing one of those. Also, we'll talk about it off air. I was against some of the changes as a competitor, but we'll see how it goes and see if it works out. But that's why he wants me testing them demos too. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll get back into the debate leagues. But Richie, what you got?
Well, yeah, I've also got a testing match for that coming out against Nicholas Hernandez. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that demo works. I don't know if he'll ever come out, but I might tell you off here. He's picked some wacky choices. I will say that. Me and Malcolm have a lights out tag title. We got selected for a team title shot against Chris Cass and the Dude. So we'll be doing that on, I believe, on Saturday your time, Sunday, so check that. I'll be on Tournament Fights tomorrow, doing the championship round for Best 2002. I hear there was a couple of wacky ones that made it in there.
Wacky picks over some other better movies that didn't. Well, just some that had easier brackets, and then some good
Brian
movies.
Nussbaum keeps me updated, by the way. Not that I asked.
Oh,
him. He keeps me updated. Hold on. Let me say my piece. I'm not saying he keeps me updated when shit happens because Van Wilder adaptation. Fuck you guys. And there's one other one that pissed me off too. I can't remember.
I'll tell you which one it is because Zach Shelton kept me updated for some reason. He just messaged me the hot chick over Chicago. Okay, fair enough.
That's right. Fuck you guys even harder on that one.
We had multiple people that are not fans of Chicago on that panel, so it just is what it is. And Hot Chick's a top 10 Rob Schneider movie. Am I right, JPO?
Yeah.
So it's fine.
Hold on. Top 10 trips to hell doesn't equal out it's one of the lesser bad trips to hell. But.
So you'll have movies like The Hot Chick and Van Wilder and The Time Machine in the championship and all.
The Time Machine? What the fuck?
Time Machine had an easy bracket where we had no other choice.
Yeah.
The Mandy Moore Classic, A Walk to Remember, which had 2 clean sweeps, making it into the championship somehow. So some interesting movies in there. And you know what you won't see in there? Minority Report from Steven Spielberg. Nope. So so check that out tomorrow night on the Movie Hero Network and see how all the wackiness ensue in that half bracket. I've got my next monthly mistake drinking game with Wolfman on Saturday night. We're kind of in the middle of the summer here, so we're doing another Friday the 13th movie. We're doing a drinking game for Jason Takes Manhattan. So, a little Friday the 13th part 8 in there, diving into that. We got our podcast halfway through the year. Richie, I apologize sincerely. He has a hard-on for getting Paul Preston on that show, and you're our first backup if and when he drops out the day before. So, we'll sub you right in pretty much the day of when he drops out. So keep an eye out. I mean, he gave a thumbs up to the scheduling, so as of right now, he's on the show, but he dropped out of the last tournament too, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I mean, it's just a full panel. We have 5 people on that show as of right now, and I feel like we just can't go any more than that. Otherwise, the show's going to be like 5 hours. So but JP will be on there because we just need him for his streaming picks because he's always on top of those streaming movies. So we have him on there for that.
The cinema too lately, man. Come on, I'm back in the cinema.
No, I just mean like if there's anything good out there, you're on top of it. Wolfman's seen all those early film festivals things, so we got to have him on there because he's seen a million, Sundance or whatever.
Movie yet?
Yeah.
The Horse movie.
Oh God, I haven't watched that yet, but I mean, we're not doing a worst of. It's mostly best of. So we'll run down we'll do a quick worst of at the end of the show, but it's mostly just a top 12 kind of best. So it is top 12, JPO. So pluck some of those honorable mentions to round out the 12. But shouldn't be that difficult. We all have movies ready
I've
to go.
Letterboxd, so I just have to look at my top 12.
Exactly. Well, and we wanted to wait in case anybody sees Deadpool and Wolverine and puts that in the top 12 because there's a very good possibility of that. It could make it. I mean, tune in to find out because it's very, very good and a lot of fun. So
no guys have seen about that. For sure.
Yeah, we've seen it.
Well, I know Wolfman saw it.
So I mean, we wanted to give everybody a chance to maybe slip that in if they're enthusiastic about it. So we'll see if it makes anybody's list. I might even see it twice before then because there's a good chance I might go back and see it on Saturday or Sunday. And then we got all the usual shenanigans over on the Movie Hero Network. We're not sure, Richie and I, if we're going to do Wheel of Movies this week or this next week or the week after for Shannon Doherty and Mallrats. So we'll talk about that. We'll see, just depending on how our schedules work out. That'll pretty much wrap it up for tonight. So until next week, when we talk a little SummerSlam predictions and the IC Intercontinental Draft, that'll do it for tonight. So thank you, JPO, for joining us. Thank you, Richie, for joining us. Hopefully, Mr. Barber will be back next week. He should be back next week. Scheduled to be back next week. And I am Austin Pez Howell, and we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.